interesting people around with fascinating stories. To listen live wherever you are, just tap on the 5AA Player app on your smartphone and enjoy the conversation.
A high fly ball to deep left field, back and gone. Into McCovey Cove, a splash hit for the Giants.
You're not in San Fran right now. But with travel booking via the CommBank app, the USA is closer than ever. Save up to 15% on flights with the flyaway sale. Book now. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. Search travel booking in the CommBank app today.
That is headed for Alcatraz.
Travel booking is provided by Hopper. Eligibility and T's and C's apply.
The Volvo XC60 Special Edition with Lifestyle Pack upgrade includes Harman Kardon premium sound, panoramic sunroof, tinted rear windows, and 20-inch alloy wheels from $74,990 drive away. Conditions apply. Volvo.
I don't get violent like that, so it's not about me.
Those kind of comments don't affect me.
If someone else acts that way, it's got nothing to do with me.
Oh my God, I would just leave if that happened to me.
It's not all men, and it's definitely not me.
Violence against women starts with gender inequality. We all need to play a role to stop it. Let's change the story. Visit ourwatch.org.au/MeWe to find out how.
We all want to save the planet. Might as well get paid for it. Mobile Monster are so passionate about sustainability and recycling unused devices, they'll pay top dollar for your old phone to keep it from ending up in landfill. Just drop off your old device in Melbourne or post it in and get paid within 24 hours with your data securely wiped. Mobile Monster has been turning old phones into cash for 10 years with over 6,000 Trustpilot reviews. Get an instant quote. Head to mobilemonster.com.au.
Dear Mia, happy 10th birthday. Today, you can count your age on 2 full hands. And we can put those hands in handcuffs. On your 10th birthday, we can send you to prison. That's our gift to you. Love, the New South Wales Government.
In New South Wales, 10-year-olds can be sent to prison. That is too young. Learn more at raisingagensw.org.au. Authorised by Unlimited Sydney.
With NIB Health Insurance, you could get a discount on groceries. You could upgrade your cooking.
Order up?
Yes, chef. NIB. Potentially amazing. Get started at nib.com.au today.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Sunny and 31 with the midday news. I'm Kendall Brettig. The Albanese government says cost of living and healthcare will dominate tonight's federal budget and the upcoming election. More from Michael Packey.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers will hand down his 4th budget, a pre-election blueprint which has already flagged $16 billion in spending measures, with further cost of living relief on the cards. Dr Chalmers argues the nation's finances are in better shape than what Labor inherited in 2022.
So the budget tonight will be a platform for prosperity in a new world of uncertainty.
The opposition's Angus Taylor says the budget needs to outline how people's living standards will improve.
We need a budget for the next 5 years and beyond, not just for the next 5 weeks.
The budget will forecast a $6 billion rise in gross debt to $940 billion and deficits to continue over the medium term.
A man and woman have been arrested after police spotted a car driving in Meningie with the boot open. As officers approached, a man jumped out and tried to close it, but it popped open again, revealing a large amount of cannabis partially concealed by a brown sheet. The Murray Bridge couple, a 25-year-old man and a 20-year-old woman, have been arrested and charged with trafficking. They'll face court in June. The cannabis has been seized along with a pair of secateurs. A microalgae killing fish on the Fleurieu Peninsula has been identified. The EPA expects it will dissipate naturally over time, depending on wind, swell and tidal conditions. Waipinga Beach and Parsons remain closed until further notice, and Environment Minister Susan Close says there's still a danger.
We are continuing to say to people, while you're seeing the foam flecks on the beach, and if you can see that there's a bit of scum on the water, please stay out. Don't mess around with it. Don't think, oh, it's all right. You know, I'm young and I'm healthy. Just stay out of it. This is not something to mess with.
The US Defence Secretary is attempting to downplay a security incident where a journalist was included in a group chat discussing sensitive war plans. The Atlantic's Jeffrey Goldberg was included in a chain on the encrypted app Signal with Pete Hegseth, Vice President JD Vance and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. They were discussing upcoming strikes on Houthi rebels in Yemen. Questions have been raised about whether the Pope's light duty order will prevent him attending a meeting with the royal family. King Charles and Queen Camilla are due to visit the Vatican in about 2 weeks. Europe correspondent Hannah Sinclair says the decision is yet to be made.
The question now is, will they meet the Pope in person? Obviously, when he was in hospital, that didn't look like it would be possible.
Turning to 5AA sport, the Karen Rolton Oval's ready for the Sheffield Shield final starting tomorrow after the AFL's refusal to share the Adelaide Oval with cricket. Temporary infrastructure at the ground includes a 300-seat grandstand, an 80-metre three-tier viewing platform overlooking the Oval and a members area with a multi-level deck and marquee. Sports Minister Emily Burke says capacity's been doubled.
5,000 to 10,000, there's lots of different options for people. There's seated options, but there's also tiered standing options for people to really get behind the boys, and there's also the opportunity to bring along a picnic rug for the family. There's lots of great spaces behind the field as well, so you can go and really hang out and catch up there and come back and watch the game as it progresses.
To footy, Melbourne captain Max Gawn has come to the defence of his coach Simon Goodwin after criticism over his post-match comments. More from Jordan Tunbridge.
Max Gawn had a rare-off game as Melbourne suffered a heavy defeat to North Melbourne on Sunday, clearly outplayed in the ruck by his counterpart Tristan Sherry. After the match, Goodwin took the unusual step of suggesting there was more to Gawn's performance than met the eye, but kept the details of the personal issues private, leading to backlash. It has since been revealed Gawn was dealing with an illness in his family before the match. He insists that wasn't the reason for his poor form, admitting he was simply outplayed by Sherry. Gawn has no issue with Goodwin's comments, believing they showed genuine care from his coach.
Port Adelaide forward Jack Lukosius has undergone surgery on his knee and won't play on Thursday night against Essendon, nor will Ryan Burton or Lockie Jones, who are both injured, while the Crows are preparing to take on North Melbourne at home on Sunday. And the Socceroos take on China tonight in a World Cup qualifier. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Good afternoon. Watch out for a crash in Paraka on Montague Road westbound before Main North Road. There's debris to watch out for in Fulham Gardens. It's causing delays on Tapley's Hill Road northbound after Henley Beach Road. South Road Apache run both ways from Anzac Highway past Sir Donald Bradman Drive and through Theberton. When the lucky country isn't so lucky, lucky you're with Amy. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
To the weather, sunny today, 31, sunny again tomorrow and Thursday, 32, and then 33 for Friday. Right now, 27 on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
This is Conversations with Cornsey.
Hi everyone, my guest in the studio today is Nicole Flint. Now, Nicole's done lots of interesting things. She's been a solicitor, she writes columns, she's a journalist. Famously, she was the federal member for Boothby between the 2016 elections and up until the 2022 elections. Probably best known for the withering assault she endured by a group called Get Up in her last election, but she withstood that. Then she retired. Tearfully she retired. But she joins me now in the studio. Nicole, how are you?
I am really well, thank you, Conzi. I am actually in the very best health that I have been in my entire adult life. It's been quite a journey the past 5 years, and I have never been better, never been fitter, never been healthier.
Well, mentally, of course, but you're also an advocate for endometriosis, which is a very debilitating illness. I mean, have you got that under control? I mean, it's a little bit personal, I know, but...
No. Well, we're going to have a bit of a chat about women's health today, Cornsey. So all your listeners, prepare yourselves. No, my physical and my mental health has never been better because I finally have my endometriosis under control. So in late last year, I went on sort of the last ditch medication that is, I'm not going to say experimental, but it's very strong. It essentially has put me into menopause. And I have never felt better. So for a lot of women, that's when they actually finally get relief from endometriosis, from the pain, from their hormones being all over the shop. And the change to my physical and mental health is just extraordinary. I am a new person. I look back and I literally feel like I have only ever operated at 50% of my capacity. And all of a sudden, I am at 100%. So look out, world. I'm back.
Interesting to say that you're entering menopause. I mean, that itself can be quite debilitating for many women.
If you don't get the right treatment. So I am so lucky. And I guess if there are ladies out there listening today, whether it's endometriosis, menopause, whether they've had a really, traumatic childbirth experience. The Weekend Australian, a couple of weekends ago, there was a significant article on urinary tract infections that mainly affect women. My message is please just keep searching until you find the health professionals who will help and support you. So I have actually chosen to take a medication that puts me into menopause. It completely shuts down all of my hormones. And then I'm layering that with what traditionally would have been called HRT. So I have an incredible GP I have two incredible GPs who are managing that for me. And I have never felt better. It is extraordinary.
There are many women listening to that conversation who want to say, I want to know more.
Yes.
How do they find out more?
Okay, there's a wonderful menopause association, so get online and start Googling. But I think the key, and I'm very new to this space, so in due course I will have a lot more to say about it because I have unfinished business, really, Cornsey, when it comes to politics and policy making. I am determined to get women's health the funding and the attention that it deserves so that when you have, and it is unfortunately often all related to our reproductive systems and reproductive health, so that when you have problems, you can get the help that you deserve. From the preliminary reading that I have done, women should not be scared of estrogen and HRT. And the way my wonderful GP, who specialises in menopause, so, I mean, again, do Googling, try and find doctors who specialise in it. She said it is an absolute travesty that we have literally had 2 decades of women who were denied this treatment and lived in agony.
They were scared of the hormone replacement therapy because of the risk of breast cancer, wasn't it?
Yeah. So. And the way it's been explained to me that it is such a minimal increased risk, and if you are properly, carefully monitoring doing your mammograms and things like that, then you should be fine. So, it is a slightly increased risk, but the quality of life that women can achieve, in contrast, is worth the trade-off. And I say this as someone, and I'm sure my mum won't mind me sharing this, but my mum had breast cancer. She was diagnosed in 2022. So it's funny how life works out. I had literally retired from politics the month before she got diagnosed through a routine mammogram. So again, ladies and husbands of ladies, make sure your wives, your sisters, your mums, whoever it is, are having regular mammograms because it was just a routine mammogram. Despite that, my GP assures me that I'm at no greater risk.
Let's move on, because your family history intrigues me. In your maiden speech, you paid tribute to your great-grandfather, who was at Pozier. What do you know about your great-grandfather?
Well, I guess I got to know a lot more about him when I put my hand up to be the candidate for Boothby and was then elected. So he passed away before my dad was born. He was 54, I think he was, because he went to World War One, he was gassed, he was wounded, and it badly affected his heart. So he was quite unwell the entire time after World War One and passed away quite young. So I just dug a lot more into his history, into his war records. The Australian War Memorial resources are just incredible. So he left Australia, sailed out of Adelaide in 1916. So I was elected literally 100 years to the date that he went to World War One. He landed in Marseille, went to Pozières, which was, as I'm sure you're well aware, and a lot of our listeners would be as well. I think Charles Bean said, war historian Charles Bean said it's the place most sown with Australian blood of any place on the earth, or something along those lines. And then after that, though, he went to Bulcourt and was taken prisoner of war. So he didn't get home until about mid-1919. So the war was well and truly over before they were released from being prisoners of war. He was repatriated to England and then they sailed back to Australia. So he got home mid-1919. I was incredibly privileged to travel with my mum and dad in 2019, and we went to the Western Front. And have you?
I've been to Villers-Brettoneux and was surprised to find a cemetery called the Adelaide Cemetery there.
Right.
But it's about you, not me.
No, I've been to Villers-Brettoneux as well. It is just a fitting memorial, as it should be.
Because they love Australians there.
Yes. To go and stand where your great-grandfather stood, knowing that they were about to have to walk across. This is at Bulcourt. It was just unbelievable. You're standing, so it was just a big open paddock, and there was we were standing on a slight rise on one side. About, I don't know, a kilometre across the paddock was where the German trenches were, and they just had to walk towards them.
Terrible. But so did your grandfather must have known his father. Did you ever?
No, so this is my maternal grandmother.
Okay.
Sorry, paternal grandmother. So this is Dad's mum. So my link to Boothby was on my dad's mum's side, and that's why I was so proud to be elected in Boothby, because when my great-grandfather finally got back from World War One, he married my great-grandmother and they settled in a war service home in Lower Mitcham, Clare Street, Lower Mitcham. My great-grandmother was a pretty strong woman, I think some might say feisty, and she demanded she went back to work, which was unheard of. So she was a school teacher. She taught at Colonel Light Gardens Primary School. And what's so lovely about Colonel Light Gardens, beautiful school, is that they have all of the records still from the time that she was there. And so there's all of these references to my great-grandmother, and my grandmother did her teacher's training there.
And of course, it's in the Boothby electorate.
Yes, right in the centre of Boothby. So, of course, my grandmother, being a teacher, as so many teachers and nurses did back in the day, went and did a teaching placement in Kingston South East. Met my grandfather, and that's how I ended up growing up in the South East.
Okay, so were they farmers?
Yeah, Dad's family. Yes, so he's my grandfather. So Dad's dad. We got to South Australia. The Flints arrived in South Australia in about 1840 and headed down to Penola, spent a little bit of time in Victoria, came back to Penola. There's still Flints in Penola now. Damien and Sue, shout out to them, make beautiful Coonawarra red wine. And then some of us went to Kingston South East. So my dad and my uncle are still farming.
Nicole Flint is my guest, folks. Renowned as a politician, but the family history is really fascinating. Back shortly.
A high fly ball to deep left field, back and gone. Into McCovey Cove, a splash hit for the Giants.
You're not in San Fran right now, but with travel booking via the CommBank app, the USA is closer than ever. Save up to 15% on flights with the flyaway sale. Book now. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. Search travel booking in the CommBank app today.
That is headed for Alcatraz.
Travel booking is provided by Hopper. Eligibility and T's and C's apply.
The Volvo XC60 Special Edition with Lifestyle Pack upgrade includes Harman Kardon premium sound, panoramic sunroof, tinted rear windows, and 20-inch alloy wheels from $74,990 drive away. Conditions apply. Volvo.
I don't get violent like that, so it's not about me.
Those kind of comments don't affect me.
If someone else acts that way, it's got nothing to do with me.
Oh my God, I would just leave if that happened to me.
It's not all men, and it's definitely not me.
Violence against women starts with gender inequality. We all need to play a role to stop it. Let's change the story. Visit ourwatch.org.au/MeWe to find out how.
Quick Extra Cash is waiting. Trade in your phone with Mobile Monster and score up to $570 for your iPhone 11 Pro Max. Get fast payment within 24 hours, data securely wiped, plus you can easily drop off your old iPhone in Melbourne or post it in. Mobile Monster has been turning old phones into cash for 10 years, with over 6,000 Trustpilot reviews. Get an instant quote of what your phone is worth. Head to mobilemonster.com.au.
Dear Mia, happy 10th birthday. Today, you can count your age on 2 full hands. And we can put those hands in handcuffs. On your 10th birthday, we can send you to prison. That's our gift to you. Love, the New South Wales Government.
In New South Wales, 10-year-olds can be sent to prison. That is too young. Learn more at raisingagensw.org.au. Authorised by Unlimited Sydney.
Lift your game with United.
Next time you need access equipment or forklifts, lift your game with United's range of hire equipment. Hire from as short as a day to as long as a year, with great rates and flexible hire options to suit your business. Scissor lifts, boom lifts, telehandlers and forklifts, all available to hire right now. Lift your game with a hire from United. Google United Equipment today.
Lift your game with United.
With NIB health insurance, you could get a discount on groceries. You could upgrade your cooking.
Order up.
Yes, chef. NIB. Potentially amazing. Get started at nib.com.au today.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
This is Conversations with Cornsey.
Nicole Flint is my guest in the studio, the ex-member of Parliament, Federal Parliament for the seat of Boothby. But if you just tuned in, we're talking about her family history, great-grandfather, a returned soldier from World War One. Somehow, mum and dad end up in Kingston. And you're born in Kingston and raised in Kingston?
Yes. So I was born in the Kingston Soldiers Memorial Hospital in 1978. What were you doing? Winning premierships in 1978?
73 was our glory year.
Right. So, grew up there, and I very rudely was born on a Saturday in footy season. So Dad played his entire footy career for the Kingston Saints. And he and his brother were both good footballers, and Uncle Tim Tig in particular was an extremely talented footballer. And they, under their leadership, Dad was president at the age of, I think, 20, I don't know, maybe 26. He was president of the club. Maybe he was a bit younger. So he was the club president. Tig was the coach.
Tig's your uncle.
Tig's my uncle.
It's a good nickname, isn't it?
Yeah. Tiger Tim. Yeah. Which says a lot about how he played, Cornsey. So they won 3 back-to-back premierships. So 82, 83, 84. So we were really sad that Kingston Saints couldn't quite win the grand final last year, because it would have been so lovely to have a 40th anniversary of the 83 grand final replayed. So unfortunately we went down to border districts, which was a bit devastating. I was down there, I saw it. But Dad all up played about, I think, 420, 430 games.
He'd be a legend.
Mainly A grade, yeah.
Of course, Michael Taylor is the most famous footballer from Kingston. His nickname is King O, but...
Very fitting.
Did you do all your schooling in Kingston, or did you come to Adelaide?
So I went to boarding school when I was 12 years old. So I went to Pembroke, just up the road.
How did you find that, 12 years old?
Look, we grew up knowing Mum and Dad just wanted to give us the very best education they could, and it took a huge sacrifice because they had 4 kids within 5 years. I'm the oldest of 4. So the bill... the cost to them was huge, and it was a very stressful time because I went to boarding school in 1991, which is when the wool floor price, collapsed, but when the Hawke Keating government decided to get rid of the floor price, and it was devastating for farmers all around Australia. And honestly, as I said in my maiden speech, that's what turned me into a dedicated, passionate Liberal, because I lived through, and I remember how stressed Mum and Dad were all through that time, just trying to make ends meet.
Can I quote that?
Sure.
This is from your maiden speech. If I was to nominate a single person who made me a Liberal, it would not be my parents, or John Howard, or Robert Menzies, or Margaret Thatcher. It would be Paul Keating in the early 1990s, when the parents were doing their best to run their business and provide for 4 children.
Yeah.
The recession that they had to have.
That's right. Yep.
He would defend that.
Well, you're defending the indefensible there, aren't you, Paul Keating? It was so traumatic. And I remember finishing school in 1995, and it was impossible to get a job, Cornsey. Like, young kids, you couldn't get a job in a supermarket. It was really, really hard because the economy was in such terrible shape. I know lots of people whose parents lost their businesses, not just but white collar, architects and all sorts of people who were running small businesses were doing it so hard. If you had a loan, if you were paying 18% interest rates and trying to, feed and clothe your family, whether it's your business loan or your home loan, it was just a devastating time. So that's absolutely what turned me into a staunch Liberal.
How did your parents survive?
Well, they just worked very, very hard, and we lived a very frugal existence. We didn't go on holidays. They just worked, really.
4 kids at private school?
Yeah.
But then you went to uni, so...
Yes, yeah. And so uni was really lovely. I went to Flinders Uni and had a fantastic time. I will be eternally grateful, and I think I mentioned them in my maiden speech as well, to Andrew Parkin, Hayden Manning and Dean Jench, of course, the legendary Dean Jench, who were my politics and policy lecturers. I did a law degree as well. You mentioned that. I spent a year as a solicitor. It was the worst year of my life. I absolutely hated it, and I wasn't very good at it. But it gave me good, not like your brilliant wife, who obviously really enjoys the law and enjoyed her studies. I loved my arts degree. And so it does distress me from time to time when people like to attack arts degrees, because that's why I've been able to do what I've managed to do in my career, because of the policy making skills that I gained from Flinders University, that gave me the research skills and the reasoning skills. And what I really love about policy is that you can come up with whatever idea you like. If you can justify it, if you can cost it up, find the money to fund it, if you can justify it with research, you can actually literally change the world. And that's what I did with endometriosis. No government had ever had a policy or a plan on endometriosis until I came along and Gai Brotman came along, who was the Labor member for Canberra. We got together, started a little parliamentary friends group for endometriosis awareness, and I lobbied Greg Hunt, worked with him, who was our wonderful health minister, worked with him, and now we have a national action plan and the first ever funding, et cetera, et cetera. So there is so much more to do, but again, it goes to show that if you've got a bit of imagination and if you've got the policy and the research skills and I guess the arguing skills,
debating. you
can put your case, then you can actually change people's lives.
You've jumped a couple of decades, because I'm intrigued in the where does the ambition come? When you're going through university, did you immerse yourself in politics of the day?
No, but I was very enthusiastically involved in the SA Farmers Federation, which sadly doesn't exist anymore. They had a Future Leaders Committee, and I was one of their young future leaders. So when I was at uni, I was very focused on rural and regional policies and things like that, and volunteering with the SA Farmers, which then led me to getting a graduate position in Canberra, so at the Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So that's where, and I'm so grateful as well to ACCI, which still exists today, which has, amazing members around the nation representing small and medium and family businesses. It was such a great grounding in policy and also politics, because it was in Canberra. So that was, I guess, my introduction to federal politics. I worked with Peter Hendy, who eventually became the member for Eden Monero, but I was very, very fortunate to work with Peter, he was my chief of staff for Brendan Nelson. I worked for Brendan Nelson, who I like to say ruined me for life as an employee, because there is nobody more brilliant, hardworking and kind than the Honourable Dr. Brendan Nelson. And I think the nation understood that once they saw the work that he did at the War Memorial.
Yes, I've met him several. I keep saying, "Would you come on as a guest of Conversations?" And he said, "I will," but for some reason we haven't connected. What was it about him? I mean, why, when he was leader of the party for a while, but why did he not succeed? Why?
Because of Malcolm Turnbull,
who
was literally undermining him or attempting to undermine him every single day. Yeah, it was anyway. And
well, tell us what you really think of Malcolm.
I don't think that's publishable. I really hoped that Malcolm, when he became, and I worked for him very briefly in Canberra. So he took over from Brendan. I was one of 2 policy advisors he kept on. The other one was Peter Credlin, my very dear friend, who is the most brilliant woman and had a horrible time in politics as well. So maybe Nicole, your wife Nicole, Peter and I should start a little support group, Conzi. Strong women who survived to tell the tale. So I worked with Malcolm very briefly, and then I came home to South Australia. So I'd been in Canberra for 4 or 5 years, and it was time to come home. Then I got elected to Parliament.
Did you come home specifically to stand as a candidate?
No.
So
that didn't happen for some years after that.
So what did you come home to do?
Martin Hamilton-Smith offered me a job in the Leader's office here in South Australia. And I'd been away from home for a long time, and it was really hard and expensive to get home from Canberra to come back to SA. So it was time for me to come home. And so I worked for Martin for a little while, and then I became, by chance, a newspaper columnist, which I'm not trained for. I just have strong opinions, Cornsey.
What's happening in your personal life while this is all happening?
As in, what do you mean?
Well, love affairs, partners, and
Cornsey, let's just say I'm very happily single, very happily single. And you've probably jumped ahead to sort of what's happened in the past 5 years, which I have...
No, I want to go back to those times, like young, attractive, intelligent lady. Surely you'd
unlucky in love, Cornsey, let's just say that. That's probably the easiest way to put it.
Why do you say that? Why unlucky in love?
Oh, because it's true.
Has your heart been broken?
Oh, yes, of course. Hasn't everyone's from time to time over the years? As I said, I am, as we said at the start of this chat, Cornsey, I am in the very best place of my entire life, and very happily single, and very, very busy doing a range of things. I'm having a lot of fun.
Nicole Flint is my guest. I'll try and extricate myself from that line of questioning back after the break.
A high fly ball to deep left field, back and gone. Into McCovey Cove, a splash hit for the Giants.
You're not in San Fran right now. But with travel booking via the CommBank app, the USA is closer than ever. Save up to 15% on flights with the flyaway sale. Book now. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. Search travel booking in the CommBank app today.
That is headed for Alcatraz.
Travel booking is provided by Hopper. Eligibility and T's and C's apply.
The Volvo XC60 Special Edition with Lifestyle Pack upgrade includes Harman Kardon Premium Sound, panoramic sunroof, tinted rear windows, and 20-inch alloy wheels from $74,990 drive away. Conditions apply. Volvo.
Dear Mia, happy 10th birthday. Today, you can count your age on 2 full hands. And we can put those hands in handcuffs. On your 10th birthday, we can send you to prison. That's our gift to you. Love, the New South Wales Government.
In New South Wales, 10-year-olds can be sent to prison. That is too young. Learn more at raisetheage.nsw.org.au. Authorised by Unlimited Sydney.
I don't get violent like that, so it's not about me.
Those kind of comments don't affect me.
If someone else acts that way, it's got nothing to do with me.
Oh my God, I would just leave if that happened to me.
It's not all men, and it's definitely not me.
Violence against women starts with gender inequality. We all need to play a role to stop it. Let's change the story. Visit ourwatch.org.au/MeWe to find out how.
Quick extra cash is waiting. Trade in your phone with Mobile Monster and score up to $900 for your iPhone 12 Pro Max. Get fast payment within 24 hours, data securely wiped, plus you can easily drop off your old iPhone in Melbourne or post it in. Mobile Monster has been turning old phones into cash for 10 years, with over 6,000 Trustpilot reviews. Get an instant quote of what your phone is worth. Head to mobilemonster.com.au.
Lift your game with United.
Next time you need access equipment or forklifts, lift your game with United's range of hire equipment. Hire from as short as a day to as long as a year, with great rates and flexible hire options to suit your business. Scissor lifts, boom lifts, telehandlers and forklifts, all available to hire right now. Lift your game with a hire from United. Google United Equipment today.
Lift your game with United.
With NIB Health Insurance, you could get a discount on groceries. You could upgrade your cooking.
Order up.
Yes, chef. NIB. Potentially amazing. Get started at nib.com.au today.
The 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows wherever you go.
This is Conversations with Cornsey.
Hi folks, if you've just tuned in, you're missing a chat we're having with Nicole Flint, the former member for Boothby. We haven't got her elected yet, but she's a young lady who grew up in the country, came to school, studied as a lawyer, worked in Canberra with some interesting bosses, came back to Adelaide, worked for Martin Hamilton Smith. So whilst you're doing all of this, and you became a columnist, whilst you're doing all this, are you starting to think, well, maybe I should stand as a candidate?
No, not at all. And I think I know this is still so typical of women. I was really happy being behind the scenes. I loved being a policy advisor. I loved coming up with the ideas, but the thought of having to be the person fronting the media and being in front of the cameras and talking to people on radio like we are now absolutely terrified me.
Did it?
I loved it.
Because of what you'd seen happen to other candidates?
No, just as and there's a lot of research on this. Women just don't have the same confidence as blokes do. Now, I hope that's changing, Cornsey. And I've throughout my time in politics, I would speak to my school students and to Liberal women's council groups around the nation. Paid to fly myself around the nation to talk to them all, to say, just have a go, ladies. Start seeing yourself as a leader. Start thinking that maybe you're the right person to be a candidate. The only reason that I ended up as the member for Boothby was Andrew Southcott announced his resignation, and nobody had predicted that he was going to resign because he was still very young when he finished up, when he retired.
Too. Nice guy.
Lovely guy. Yeah. So he and his lovely wife, Kate, had to meet with me 4 times before I even agreed to put my hand up for pre-selection. Because like, again, a lot of women do, I said, I'm not the right person. It's not the right time. Surely there's someone better, more experienced, more equipped for this, which really, when you look at it objectively, was ridiculous. I had a weekly column in the Advertiser, so my profile was very good. I was clearly passionate about policy. I had lots of ideas, and I'd been an active Liberal Party volunteer. I knew how the party worked. I was a lifelong Liberal. I mean, that's the other thing I say about when people say, why are you a Liberal? I say I was born this way. And then Paul Keating turned me into an absolutely staunch Liberal. And I just didn't see myself like that. And so it was so hard. I was so terrified of doing media when I was the candidate because I put so much pressure on myself not to stuff it up.
Seen a few people do that, hadn't you?
Well, some people do, but Nicole, and bless her for being as open and honest about it as she was, because it is so helpful for women to see someone being honest about, it can go badly, but then you can go on and have a brilliant career like she did. But I think, and I know that Nicole's made comments about this, but I still think the Labor Party had not done a good job for her in preparing her.
That goes without saying, but that's
which is really unfair.
You lived through it.
And I guess, having seen that sort of stuff, I always made sure that I was really, really well prepared.
Did you face much competition for pre-selection?
There were 6 of us who put their hands up for pre-selection.
And how did that go? Was it tough? Was it competitive?
It was very competitive.
Was there much infighting?
Yes. No, there wasn't a lot of infighting. It was a good, clean fight. And my 2016 election experience was excellent. It was a good, clean campaign. It was precisely how an election campaign should be conducted. It was fought out on the policies and people just working hard and putting their ideas out there, putting themselves out there, and it was safe and it was a really good experience. It was precisely how Australian democracy should be, compared to 2019, which is the absolute worst example
We'll come to that. You are an intriguing study in politics because you are, I have to say, from the far right. My observation is...
What does that mean, Graham?
That you are ultra-conservative, I would think.
What does that mean?
I want to quote from your speech.
Because people are bandying... I'm intrigued by this. People are bandying this term about at the moment, and they're using it to try to pigeonhole people in a way that is completely accurate. And I think trying to suggest that if you're calling me ultra-conservative, that I'm in some way extreme. So I'm interested to know...
Not extreme, but you're more to the right than the centre, I would think. Can I make that observation without offending you?
You can make whatever observation you like. But just try to explain to me how you think that I'm...
I move this motion today, having sworn my allegiance to Her Majesty the Queen, testament to the stability provided by our constitutional monarchy and the Judeo-Christian principles and traditions that made us one of the most respected, respectful and peaceful nations on earth. You're obviously a monarchist.
No, I am...
Or did you have to say that?
No, I didn't have to say that. I wrote those words myself. I do consider myself to be a conservative, and by that I mean I think we live in the best country in the world, and the reason for that is our institutions and many of our traditions and our conventions. And a lot of these things aren't written down, as we know. It is because it's the way it's always been done. So cabinet government, for example, is not... The fact we have a Prime Minister in the Cabinet is not actually written down in the Constitution. It's just the way it's always been done, and it actually works pretty well. I'm not a monarchist. I am a staunch constitutional monarchist, because until someone can put a better system to me and to the Australian people, why on earth would we stuff up something that works so well?
But philosophically, if it was the right system, would you embrace a republic?
Possibly, but the cost would be extraordinary. And every model that I've ever looked at involves writing up a lot of rules that are currently unwritten and just work. The second you start getting lawyers involved is when it gets even more expensive and messy, and you have court challenges, and you're wasting people's time that should be put into making sure every single person in Australia can live the very best life that they can, and that we look after people who are in need.
So look, we'll move off that because we'll have a debate. The experience of the first election, you said it was how it should have been. Tough, competitive. The emotion when you are successful on election night. Can you describe that for us?
It was really exciting, but Malcolm Turnbull, under his leadership, lost the Liberal Party 14 seats. So we didn't even know if we had won government that night. A lot of people, some of whom I knew, some of whom I didn't, had lost their seats. It was a really sobering and quite sombre experience. So personally, I was happy, but there was a lot of uncertainty that night. We didn't know from memory, a week or so, whether we were going to even be able to form government.
Well, what was the main issue there? I can't remember. That's 6 or 7 years ago. Where did he falter, Turnbull, in that election?
People were, from memory, and it is a long time ago now, Graham, people were really unhappy that another Prime Minister had been knifed. So we lost a lot of our normal voters because we'd just come out of, John Howard losing, Kevin Rudd, Julia Gillard, Kevin Rudd, Tony Abbott, And then Tony, not even 2 years into his tenure, was knifed again. The Australian people were sick of it.
But he wasn't a popular figure, Tony Abbott, was he? I know.
Well, he was extremely popular when he won in 2013 with almost a record number of seats. And he had a really good policy proposal. And, you know, I really feel that that's sort of the territory that we're in again now. We have a very effective opposition leader and the country is heading in the wrong direction. So I think the next election will be very interesting for the Labor Party federally.
Nicole Flint is my guest, folks. We'll take a break. Back shortly.
A high fly ball to deep left field, back and gone. Into McCovey Cove, a splash hit for the Giants.
You're not in San Fran right now, but with travel booking via the CommBank app, the USA is closer than ever. Save up to 15% on flights with the flyaway sale. Book now. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. Search travel booking in the CommBank app today.
That is headed for Alcatraz.
Travel booking is provided by Hopper. Eligibility and T's and C's apply.
The Volvo XC60 Special Edition with Lifestyle Pack upgrade includes Harman Kardon premium sound, panoramic sunroof, tinted rear windows, and 20-inch alloy wheels from $74,990 drive away. Conditions apply. Volvo.
Dear Mia, happy 10th birthday. Today, you can count your age on 2 full hands. And we can put those hands in handcuffs. On your 10th birthday, we can send you to prison. That's our gift to you. Love, the New South Wales Government.
In New South Wales, 10-year-olds can be sent to prison. That is too young. Learn more at raistheageNSW.org.au. Authorised by Unlimited Sydney.
I don't get violent like that, so it's not about me.
Those kind of comments don't affect me.
If someone else acts that way, it's got nothing to do with me.
Oh my God, I would just leave if that happened to me.
It's not all men, and it's definitely not me.
Violence against women starts with gender inequality. We all need to play a role to stop it. Let's change the story. Visit ourwatch.org.au/MeWe to find out how.
We all want to save the planet. Might as well get paid for it. Mobile Monster are so passionate about sustainability and recycling unused devices, they'll pay top dollar for your old phone to keep it from ending up in landfill. Just drop off your old device in Melbourne or post it in and get paid within 24 hours with your data securely wiped. Mobile Monster has been turning old phones into cash for 10 years with over 6,000 Trustpilot reviews. Get an instant quote. Head to mobilemonster.com.au.
Lift your game with United.
Next time you need access equipment or forklifts, lift your game with United's range of hire equipment. Hire from as short as a day to as long as a year with great rates and flexible hire options to suit your business. Scissor lifts, boom lifts, telehandlers and forklifts, all available to hire right now. Lift your game with a hire from United. Google United Equipment today.
Lift your game with United.
The new 5AA Player app lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows, news and podcasts wherever you go.
This is Conversations with Cornsey.
Nicole Flint is my guest in the studio, folks. If you just tuned in, she's just been elected to the seat of Boothby, the Liberal Party scraping, a narrow margin of 1 seat. You're blaming Malcolm Turnbull. Have you been watching the ABC series Nemesis?
No, couldn't think of anything worse to do with my time.
Why do you say that?
Because I lived through it, I don't need to relive it.
The most impressive statesman-like figure is Malcolm Turnbull. He has a statesman-like appeal. The thing that surprised me most, when all of the guests who are from, various sides of politics, and a lot of them were within the Liberal Party, were asked to give a one-word response to Scott Morrison. So I'd say, if I asked you, give me a one-word response to your impression of Scott Morrison, what would your response be? Hardworking.
Is that 2 words? No, he worked so hard, and look, COVID was just an unbelievable experience for us all. It's fine with the glorious benefit of hindsight to pick out all the problems and what could have been done differently. But ultimately, we did we did keep lives safe, whether we needed to go as hard as we did. No, probably not, but no one knew that at the time.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing that was surprising. Yours was a positive response there. Almost all, not everyone. Malcolm Turnbull's response wasn't positive, but most of the responses to that question, including from the female politicians, were positive about Scott Morrison. Is he a misunderstood character?
Most members of Parliament probably are, Cornsey.
Because he seemed to go out almost with his tail between his legs, almost in disgrace. He would be hounded out by various elements of the media and other sides of politics. You can't help feeling that he got the wrong end of the stick with that.
Yes, and I think we're seeing that with a lot of prime ministers from John Howard on. John Howard was in a very similar position. It's only been with the passage of time that people have realised how good Australia was and the good position that we were in through the Howard years that has rehabilitated, I think, the way that people talk about him, because they certainly weren't saying very nice things when he lost the election in 2007. So I think with the passage of time, people will become kinder, I think. But it's not just Scott, it's the same with Tony Abbott, probably the same with Kevin Rudd. I think people liked Julia Gillard at the time, but certainly she's conducted herself beautifully since she retired from politics and does some very good work.
The 2019 election is where you endured unspeakable tactics from a group who the Electoral Commission said wasn't really aligned with any political party, but clearly were campaigning against you. Or Get Up, I think they were called. Can you give us some of the experiences that you had to live through there?
Yes, so, they admitted in a parliamentary inquiry into everything that went on in the 2019 election campaign that they engaged in tactics such as, quote unquote, bird dogging, which is essentially, you find the candidate, you follow them everywhere, you harass them, you stalk them, you make them feel intimidated and harassed and unsafe. And their tactics, and they said they were going to make 100,000 phone calls into Boothby. I believe they probably did, because all of my Liberal Party members got calls from them. But they were saying things like that I was evil because of climate change and things. So they were so aggressive, and that encouraged an element of the community who, just needed that bit of a push to start getting aggressive as well, and they did. So, I was stalked, and I'll just, again, as I always say, will be eternally grateful to SA Police for their amazing support, because as soon as they got involved, they shut the individual down, and I didn't see him again. Unfortunately, that wasn't until 2 weeks before the election campaign, and it had been going on for 5 months by then. But it wasn't just Get Up, it was also Labor and the unions, and they were just they had an uncanny ability to find out where I was going to be and turn up in numbers to try to intimidate me. I mean, at the very end of the campaign, I remember just doing it was just a little video for Facebook with David Spears, our opposition leader now here in SA, and Corey Wingard. And we were on Brighton Road, and we were on one side of Brighton Road, the seaside of Brighton Road, and there were 2 Labor Party volunteers at the entrance of the train stop on the other side, and literally within 5 minutes, they had 30 people there, including the big Get Up heads, running around with Tony Abbott, Peter Dutton heads. They were pushing the pedestrian crossing at the stoplights and getting ready to run across the road, which they did. And we're like, okay, I think we might get out of here, because there were like 30 of them. Yeah. So it's that sort of stuff. Like it was just harassment. It was continual harassment, and then all of the social media pylons and the sexist abuse and the graffiti of my campaign office calling me a skank who charges $60 an hour, blow and go. It was horrendous. So it was personally traumatic to keep reliving it as I did, and that was almost as bad as the incidents themselves. However, I'm glad I did, because we did not see any of these tactics in 2022 at the federal election, and I sincerely hope that we never see them again, because we are better than that as a nation.
What was your dad thinking while all this was happening?
Look, because they're down in the southeast and I'm up here, I think I certainly wasn't I wasn't sharing it with them because I was like, gosh, Dad will get a whole bunch of his footy mates and they'll come and start reliving their youth and getting a bit physical. Anyway, he wouldn't do that. The police are there for a reason. And as I said, the SA police were just amazing. So that was all, it was awful, but I got through it and I thought, look, I knew I've won. They didn't beat me. They didn't break me. They got close, but they didn't. And I thought I could just get on with it, but that didn't turn out to be.
Your address in Parliament was quite emotional. Yeah, pleased you gave that impression.
Yeah, because that's the state that I was in, Cornsey. So, at the start of this our conversation, I said I have never been in such good mental and physical health as I am now that I have my endometriosis and this new medication that's helped me enormously. I was at the end of my tether. I had nothing left to give when I retired. So, no, I think it's important that people see the toll that things can take, especially if your health isn't where it should be. And, it is, again, this is why I'm so passionate about doing everything I can to improve women's health, because we go through so much and we have suffered in silence for so long, and it shouldn't be this way. So I hope that me being that vulnerable and honest, I think, helps other women to see that, A, you can achieve a lot, even if you are in pain or you've got, a chronic condition, you can still achieve. But it does take a toll, and let's just be honest about that, and also get women the help that they need.
It didn't diminish your standing in any way. I thought it was just an indication of what you'd been through, and maybe it was a venting, perhaps, even though it was in a controlled manner. But it made me wonder, what's Canberra like for a single woman?
Look, it wasn't. The 2019 to 2022 was not a good time with all of the different issues that were going on, and there was some appallingly bad behaviour within Parliament House. Kate Jenkins' report Kate did a very good job, and I think things have changed a lot. So it wasn't great, but just remember, I was, looking back, not functioning as well as I could because of my endometriosis, which didn't get diagnosed until 2020. That was a huge shock. And then trying to deal with my fertility at the same time, which, I now know I can't have children. That's been a lot to work through. But I the past 5 years, 2019 to 2023, were the worst of my life. Professional trauma that we've been discussing, personal trauma with my health. The only thing worse that could have happened to me was literally if I had died. And I didn't. So I feel so lucky and so happy to be, to finally have my health sorted out. I'm having a lot of fun at the moment as a Liberal Party volunteer. I just ran a little listening tour through the state seat of MacKillop. We're heading off to some other state seats soon. I'm out campaigning in Dunstan, which is in and around the Norwood area because there's a by-election. And I guess that, that's what I've been doing this year. I'm back as a Liberal Party volunteer, chairman of Rural and Regional, sit on the state executive. It's a little bit, I don't know if scary is the right word, but I am really enjoying campaigning.
Do you have a day job, though?
I work for Sky News, so I'm on the telly twice a week, Thursday night, Sunday night, and I write a weekly column for them. I love writing. That's my passion, policy and writing.
What was the deal with you and Peter Gers?
So Peter wrote a column that was a third of it was dedicated to me in the Sunday Mail in 2020. I had a month before just had very serious surgery for endometriosis, and I was barely back on my feet. Woke up, did the first thing I do every Sunday, read Cornsey, of course, in the Sunday Mail, and I read the columns because I'm a columnist. I am again, and I was before I got into politics. So I opened it up, and there's Peter Gers having a crack at me for the way that I dress. And I was so angry. I was really not very well, but I was so angry that I formulated a minute-long rant, which is what it was, which came from a place of pure frustration and exasperation because he attacked me for how I look. He said words to the effect of, my type black pants that show my ankles, my stiletto heels, my pearly smile and my pearl earrings, and all of my coloured jackets. So that's how I'm dressed today. Obviously, listeners can't see me.
It's a beautifully tailored
right.
hot pink jacket.
I was so angry and so frustrated because I did my very best every single day to be well presented and look neat and approachable, like not wearing suits necessarily, but just neat and approachable so that anyone in my community, in our wonderful community in Boothby, could come up and chat to me about whatever they might need help with. So I wrote a minute-long rant, went to the supermarket, bought a roll of garbage bags and turned a garbage bag into a dress. And my punchline was, so what is a woman in politics supposed to wear? A garbage bag to match your rubbish views, Peter Gers? Because he attacked me for looking like this. And it's like, it was just exasperation. What are women supposed to do? You get attacked if you're not well-dressed. You get attacked if you're too well-dressed. What should we do? So I wore a garbage bag. It went international. I did international media interviews, went wild on social media, and I still have women and people, particularly women to this day, saying, thank you for saying that. We're so sick of women being judged for their appearance.
One final question.
Yes.
Will we see you standing as a candidate for any of those southeast electorates?
It's not my intention to do so, Quanzi, but thank you. That's very kind. People are encouraging me, but it's not my intention to do so. If my heart's anywhere, it's still very much in Boothby. It's such a beautiful community, and I do just want to finish by giving a quick shout out to all of my veterans groups, some of whom you probably know. The Vietnam Vets Federation did a lot of work with Mao and Bob and Robin, the Repat Wellbeing Centre. Titch Tyson and I are playing phone tag at the moment. The Plimpton Vets Centre do such a wonderful job. Women's Memorial Playing Field, I worked really hard to get that up to scratch because of our beautiful nurses who were tragically killed in World War II. I'm sure you know Barry Heffernan. You've had a bit to do with Barry over the years.
I have a bit to do with Barry.
We've lobbied
the Premier on a couple of occasions.
Yes, yep. No, done a lot of good work with Barry over the years. And then all of the RSLs, that's why it meant so much to me to be elected to the seat where my great-grandparents settled in 1920 and then to help other veterans along the way.
Nicole, thanks for the chat. It's been great. Good luck with whatever field you choose to pursue. I don't think it's going to be too long before we see you back in politics. Nicole Flint was my guest, folks. Thank you for joining us.
Coming up on Adelaide's 5AA, the very latest developments on the stories of the day with 5AA Afternoons. Get involved and share your opinion. And listen live whatever you're doing. Just tap on the 5AA Player app on your smartphone.
A high fly ball to deep left field, back and gone. Into McCovey Cove, a splash hit for the Giants.
You're not in San Fran right now. But with travel booking via the CommBank app, the USA is closer than ever. Save up to 15% on flights with the flyaway sale. Book now. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. Search travel booking in the CommBank app today.
That is headed for Alcatraz.
Travel booking is provided by Hopper. Eligibility and T's and C's apply.
The Volvo XC60 Special Edition with Lifestyle Pack upgrade includes Harman Kardon Premium Sound, panoramic sunroof, tinted rear windows, and 20-inch alloy wheels from $74,990 drive away. Conditions apply. Volvo.
Dear Mia, happy 10th birthday. Today, you can count your age on 2 full hands. And we can put those hands in handcuffs. On your 10th birthday, we can send you to prison. That's our gift to you. Love, the New South Wales Government.
In New South Wales, 10-year-olds can be sent to prison. That is too young. Learn more at raisingagensw.org.au. Authorised by Unlimited Sydney.
I don't get violent like that, so it's not about me.
Those kind of comments don't affect me.
If someone else acts that way, it's got nothing to do with me.
Oh my God, I would just leave if that happened to me.
It's not all men, and it's definitely not me.
Violence against women starts with gender inequality. We all need to play a role to stop it. Let's change the story. Visit ourwatch.org.au/MeWe to find out how.
Quick extra cash is waiting. Trade in your phone with Mobile Monster and score up to $900 for your iPhone 12 Pro Max. Get fast payment within 24 hours, data securely wiped, plus you can easily drop off your old iPhone in Melbourne or post it in. Mobile Monster has been turning old phones into cash for 10 years, with over 6,000 Trustpilot reviews. Get an instant quote of what your phone is worth. Head to mobilemonster.com.au.
Han Ultra, a beer with 0 carbs, which makes it ultra good. Best served ultra cold, after some sort of ultra-curricular activity. Han Ultra, 0 carb, great taste, how good. Less than 0.5 grams of carbs per serve. Drink responsibly.
Discover Canada and Alaska with APT and Phil Hoffman Travel in 2026. Unearth richer experiences and hidden treasures amongst the towering Rocky Mountains to the icy waters of Alaska's Glacier Bay and bustling historic cities with savings of up to $2,600 per couple. Join Phil Hoffman Travel and APT at exclusive Canada and Alaska 2026 season launch events across Adelaide from the 31st of March to the 10th of April. Visit pht.com.au.
NRG Solar knows that solar isn't just about panels. It's about future-proofing. Start your journey to self-sufficiency today. Be the visionary. Take charge. NRG Solar's new warehouse is fully stocked with a stunning range of wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself. Discover the power of solar at NRG Solar. Call 1300 858 160 or visit nrgsolar.com.au and make tomorrow brighter. That's nrgsolar.com.au.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Sunny and 31 with the 1 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig. Both sides of federal politics are getting on a war footing ahead of the election. Coalition MPs have been briefed by their party directors about campaign logistics, while the government's hoping to use tonight's federal budget as a springboard for its re-election campaign. And the budget will include extra support for some Australian businesses amid a looming threat of more US tariffs. Zach De Silva reports.
Donald Trump says next Wednesday will be Liberation Day. The US president plans to introduce new reciprocal tariffs matching the taxes other countries impose on American goods. But he says there's still room for some nations to get special treatment.
I may give a lot of countries breaks.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers says tonight's federal budget will include support for key industries to protect them from the new levies.
Our best defence against global economic uncertainty is a more resilient economy.
There will also be funding for a new campaign encouraging shoppers to buy Australian.
A man has faced court accused of raping and indecently assaulting a teenage patient during a recent medical examination. 62-year-old Ying Hu Yu of Hope Valley is yet to plead to 1 count of rape and indecent assault. His case has been adjourned till July. The Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency is also investigating. An Adelaide City councillor wants a special meeting tonight to debate the future of the current council. It's after a court found the result of the last election in 2022 was affected by illegal practices, with some ballot papers illegally handled by people acting on behalf of candidate Jing Lee. Councillor Henry Davis thinks a fresh election's needed as soon as possible.
It really does mean, in my view, that the 4 Central Ward candidates were not democratically elected. Even if there was no wrongdoing or influence on the other 3 councillors, because there's 4 councillors in the Central Ward, there still should be a by-election for all 4 because of the way that the quota system works, which is different from state and federal.
New data shows thousands of graduate teachers are unable to spell or use basic punctuation. Sasha Foote reports.
Trainee teachers are required to pass the literacy and numeracy test before graduating. The test ensures students are in the top 30% of the population for English and maths skills. But figures show the first-time fail rate has nearly doubled since 2016. Australian Tutoring Association Chief Executive Mohan Dal says students should be getting assessed earlier to ensure their suitability.
We need better standards at entry into teacher training programs.
Trainees are given unlimited chances to pass the test, and tutors say some are turning to AI to practice for the exam.
Now, Now turning to 5AA sport, and Adelaide's being tipped to do a Hawthorn this season, going from a bottom 8 side to a premiership contender in the space of a year. Commentator Matthew Lloyd says there have been promising signs from the Crows over the first few rounds.
So they've only beaten St Kilda and the Bombers, so they've still got tougher challenges to await. But sometimes you get a group of players that are all at the right age. They're 50 to 100 games. They've recruited absolute class in Isaac Rankin, Jordan Dawson. They do look like the team that could bolt up and potentially be top 4.
Well, the Power take on the Bombers on Thursday night. They'll have to make at least 3 changes, with Jack Lukosius, Lockie Jones and Ryan Burton all set to miss through injury. SA's cricketers have had a hit out ahead of tomorrow's start to the Sheffield Shield final against Queensland. Extra seating and infrastructure has been erected at Karen Rolton Oval to double capacity to allow more fans to attend. Admission is free. And the Socceroos will make at least one forced change to their starting lineup for tonight's World Cup qualifier against China. Perth Glory star Adam Taggart's been ruled out with injury, with veteran striker Mitch Duke brought into the squad at short notice. Coach Tony Popovic says he's certain he can make an impact.
He's looking good. He looks sharp and well. Very accustomed to obviously the Socceroos shirt and what's required, so he's fitted in quite easily. Yes, we have options in that striker position and we have some ideas that the players are aware of.
Now I'm checking 5AA traffic.
Good afternoon. South Road patchy both ways from Anzac Highway to Sir Donald Bradman Drive and slow southbound through Theberton. Works to watch out for in Clarendon. Grant Scully Road near Clarendon Road, speed back to 40 k's in both directions. That's also the case in Kent Town on Decatterville Terrace near Rundle Street and in the Parklands, Green Hill Road near Peacock Road. It's a super sales weekend at District Outlet Centre, where you'll find over 50 local and international brands with big savings. May North Road, Parafield. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
To the weather, sunny days ahead, 31 today, 32 tomorrow and Thursday, and 33 for Friday. Right now, 26 on 5AA, always Adelaide.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA, always Adelaide. 5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
Good afternoon to you and happy Tuesday. It's the 25th of March. I'm Stacey Lee with you here on 5AA for afternoons until 4 o'clock. And today we need your help on a number of matters. 8223 0000 is the number to call, or you can send me a text 0448 08 1395. In just a few minutes, we'll be talking about who should be allowed to vote in local council elections. This has all reared its ugly head after the Adelaide City Council election has been called into question following a court ruling in regards to one councillor elected on fake ballots, basically, the court has found. Well, last week we were talking about this and it got a huge reaction from so many of you. And at the time, we spoke to Frank Pangello, independent MP in the State Parliament's upper house, and he was going to introduce some legislation to try and rule this out in future elections. You're going to hear from Frank this afternoon. We'll see where that legislation is. And then I've reached out to the opposition and the state government as well to see whether or not they will be supporting this piece of legislation. We'll find out what's in it, we'll find out what will change, and you'll get the details from Frank in just a few moments' time. But as always, I'd love your thoughts on the matter. We'll also talk about the federal budget. I think journos in Canberra are all in their budget lockup at the moment. So they're all thinking budget, and I thought we should think about it as well. We should talk about what we already know, what implications it could have for you. How will it affect your wallet in the upcoming 12 months and potentially longer, with an election thrown in there as well. So we'll talk about that very soon. Talk back gardening with Diane Hall. If you've got a gardening question for Di, today is the day to get it in. There's a $50 Newman's Nursery voucher up for grabs for one caller this afternoon as well.
And we've got State of the Arts speaking to Douglas Gautier today, the CEO and Artistic Director of the Adelaide Festival Centre, who earlier this year announced his retirement. He'll still be in the role until the middle of the year, so I'm looking forward to talking to him about what he thinks he's been able to achieve in the role, what his favourite parts of working at the Festival Centre are. Is there any big names that he's come across? Any absolute divas that he wouldn't want to work with again? Who's the nicest person he's ever worked with over that time? And what next for him? So we'll talk to Douglas Gautier about that as well. It's Turkey Tuesday. So get thinking about your turkeys. And there was an article in the Advertiser over the weekend, an opinion piece by Paul Starrick that caught my attention. Paul Starrick thinks we should banish the tag City of Churches and rename Adelaide. Give it a new nickname. So we need your help today. What nickname should Adelaide have? 8223 0000 is the number to call. I think it should be something to do with festivals. We have so many festivals. I know for a while they were putting the festival state on the number plates of cars, but I think that's kind of dropped off. I don't think they do that anymore. I still think it should be the City of Festivals. We've just wrapped up the Fringe Festival and Adelaide Festival, the Cabaret Festival's coming up, Tasting Australia, and then, of course, we have the new ones. We've already had Live Golf this year, Gather Round. There's lots of festivals throughout the year. There's Illuminate, the Light Festival later on in the year. There'll be the Greek Festival. So I think we should go back to the festival state, but I want to hear from you. The quirkier, the better this afternoon. 8223 0000. If we're going to get rid of the City of Churches branding, what should we replace it with? Lots of prizes to give away as well. Wallace Cinemas Family Pass. I mentioned the $50 voucher for Newman's Nursery. And we have our carton of turkey flat rosé for Turkey Tuesday a little bit later on as well. So plenty of opportunities to win by calling into the program this afternoon. But let's start with that story about local government elections. It was brought up on the breakfast show again this morning. Henry Davis, Adelaide City Councillor, who you've heard a lot on this matter over the last few weeks since the court ruling that the Central Ward election of one councillor was marred by forged election papers. And there is still a court ruling to come. I guess the district court has ruled that some of those votes were invalid, but what's to come is a result. What does that mean? Who will need to go to the ballot again? Is it just the one councillor whose votes were impacted by these fake votes, or is it other councillors in that ward? Is it the entire council, including the Lord Mayor? We'll find out soon what the court has decided on that. But here is Henry Davis, who, as I say, is an Adelaide City Councillor, talking to the breakfast show about this morning.
Well, one of the difficulties will be the numbers that actually turn out. So I believe that the 4 Central Ward candidates should probably declare a conflict of interest in the motion. And so hopefully we can obtain a quorum and people show up to do their jobs. But it'll really be debated tonight to see what the outcome will be.
So there is a meeting of Adelaide City Council tonight where it will be discussed. But I wanted to look at the bigger picture here. A lot of this has to do with international students and residents of other countries being able to vote in local council elections. This is something that we spoke to Frank Pangello about a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I'd get him back on because when we spoke, Frank, he's an independent MP in State Parliament's upper house. When we last spoke, Frank, you said you had legislation in Parliament, and I wanted to get an update on where that legislation is at the moment. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Stacey. Good afternoon to your listeners. Well, the good news is that that legislation was passed and in the Legislative Council, so it's now in the House of Assembly. In fact, it's in the very capable hands of Jeff Brock, who knows all about local government. But what that legislation entails is essentially that you need to be an Australian citizen to be able to be eligible to vote in local government elections, just as it is in state. and also federal elections. Furthermore, there was another component to that piece of legislation for compulsory voting, so that went through as well. Now, I think both of these, Stacey, and it's just been borne out by the Court of Disputed Returns decision that there were illegal practices underway, that it's an integrity measure. It's to ensure that, these elections are conducted with propriety and no doubt should be cast upon those results as what happened in 2022, and most likely in 2018, because I've been given more information now that suggests that the fraud that was carried out in 2022 is far more widespread than what we have been told about. That Adelaide City Council had an idea that there was some suspicious vote harvesting going on and applications to vote. So they had an idea, and I've seen evidence of that. And also that the Electoral Commission would have or should have known what was going on. And I believe it goes back to 2018 and probably even before that. So this whole area needs utter reform, and I'm hoping that the government now see the sense in doing that.
So why did you choose to wrap up compulsory voting in the legislation as well? Do you see that maybe being a bit of a sticking point for some MPs and potentially voters? Why not just do the banning of foreign nationals voting in our elections and get that one done first?
Well, I thought I might as well chuck both in. I've been talking about this, Stacey, since almost the period I got elected. And in the initial time that I tried to do this back in 2018 or 2019, there wasn't that much support for it from either parties and other crossbenchers. However, with the revelations, the recent ones and others that have come out in recent years, there has been growing support for it. So I had unanimous support for the citizenship aspect of it last week, and of course the compulsory one went through. It's now in the House of Assembly, so the government is in control of that, and they may want to tweak with it, but I think it's important that we do have both of those. And I wanted them in there and discussed and acted upon before the 2026 elections, because if we don't do anything about it now, the same thing is likely to happen. I am so concerned about what's been going on and the integrity of these local government elections that my next step will be a motion in the Legislative Council in the next coming weeks to have a parliamentary inquiry into local government elections and the integrity of them, and also into the way that the Electoral Commission has handled it.
And so who supported your bill in the upper house? Did you have the support of government, opposition, other independents?
Well, look, the only one who opposed compulsory voting, and I was quite surprised by it, was Sarah Game from One Nation, and she spoke, pretty openly and had some points to make about voluntary voting, which surprised me because I didn't think it was One Nation policy to oppose compulsory voting. I would have always thought that they would have been supportive of anything that had, an aspect to it to improve the integrity of democratic elections rather than leave it to, the way it is at the moment. We only had 31% of people turned out at the last local government elections. And we now know that in the city of Adelaide, and there could have been in other areas in Adelaide, that there was fraudulent activity in the way that votes were harvested and in the way that applications for voting were carried out. And I've seen evidence. I've got a lot of information now that has been given to me that suggests it's more widespread than anyone thought. And the evidence I've seen, I have to say, it shocked me when I saw what was going on. And it involves, a number of areas in the city of Adelaide, a number of buildings, where this practice took place. And the evidence is clear-cut from what I've seen. And I'm shocked that the South Australian Electoral Commission and other agencies haven't bothered to even look even further into this. They seem to be accepting of what the judge found in the Court of Disputed Returns. I just hope that they don't sit on their backsides and now don't do anything about it.
Can I just go back to Frank the legislation? If the government and the opposition don't want to vote on the compulsory voting side of it, but they would like to pass the changing of the rules as to who can vote, would you be willing to split it up?
Oh yeah, of course I am. Yeah, I am. Look, compulsory voting will come. As I said to you a few years ago, there was some opposition to it. A lot of them have warmed to it now because they can see that there are problems. Even the Local Government Association, which initially was opposed to compulsory voting, is now supportive of it from those officials that I've spoken to. So I think there is now a movement towards it, and it has to come if we want to have elections that are done in a democratic way, and also that aren't or haven't been tampered with, because they've been able to tamper with the results of elections, and this is just outrageous. You can't allow that to happen, Stacey.
No.
I don't care what people say about having compulsory voting or not. You cannot allow illegal practices, fraud, to continue to happen without reform, and we need that reform.
Okay. Well, did you say everyone supported it in the upper house except for Sarah Game?
She supported the citizenship.
Yep.
She was supportive of that.
Just not the compulsory.
But she not compulsory, but it went through on voices, so she didn't divide or anything. But it surprised me that she was opposed to it. I mean, she spoke quite passionately about keeping or having voting voluntary, and I thought, well, Sarah has stood up and spoken out against illegal practices and integrity, and I was surprised that she wasn't interested in an aspect that would actually, give more clarity towards integrity than we currently have, and it's a serious problem, Stace. I have to tell you, after I viewed this additional information that has been brought to my office, I thought, wow, this has probably been going on a lot longer than we knew, and it's more widespread. And look, it probably even warrants a police investigation. It's that serious.
Okay. I'm just trying to get my head around how it went in the upper house, because, of course, now, as you mentioned, Jeff Brock has carriage of it in the lower house. So I was trying to get in touch with the government and the opposition today to work out if they'll pass it through the lower house. Sam Telfer is the Shadow Treasurer and Shadow Minister for Local Government, and he's called in. Good afternoon, Sam Telfer.
Yeah, good afternoon, Stacey.
So will the opposition be supporting this legislation in the lower house?
I'll just correct Frank's recollection of the debate, because we in the opposition are certainly a bit circumspect around the compulsory voting aspect, and indeed we tried to split the two, as you've sort of said, because I see them as two pretty separate matters. The Liberal Party room, certainly supportive of changing the arrangements and tightening things up so that what is currently in place with the ability for foreign citizens to vote in local government elections has changed, but the compulsory voting aspect of it, we even moved an amendment in the upper house to take that part out of what was being debated, because we're still circumspect as to whether the public are actually expecting that this should be a change that should come in. But, overall, Stacey, we're 2.5 years from the last local government election, and, councils and their communities are actually starting to get a bit frustrated with the absence of any sort of policy coming from the government in this space. When the previous minister, Jeff Brock, was in place, they did a review of the local government elections process. They've been sitting on that review and waiting to see what happens, I guess. So there's been no policy that's come from that. And also, 2.5 years nearly after the council elections, the formal election review from the Electoral Commissioner still hasn't been made public. I don't know if the minister has got that from the Electoral Commissioner, yes, and is sitting on that as well, or what. But, you know, it's getting close to the next council elections, and if this government is serious about local government reform, well, there needs to be some action and action quickly.
Yeah, I did reach out to the government about this. The Minister, Joe Sockarch, was unavailable this afternoon, but sent me a statement. It's talking about the court case, which, you know, I'm not really wanting to get into, but at the end of it does say the government is closely monitoring the proceedings, and along with the current local government elections and participation review and the Electoral Commissioner's report into the 2022 local government elections, will inform any update to legislation this year. This includes who can legally vote in elections. So if I'm totally honest, I'm not sure what that means. I still am unclear on the government's position on this and whether or not they'd support the bill. But just to be clear here, Sam Telfer, Shadow Minister, it sounds like you would support one part of Frank's bill to pass the changes as to who can vote in elections, but not necessarily the compulsory voting aspect of it?
Yeah, that's right. And I think this is reflective of what we're hearing from the community, that there's an expectation that, you know, it should be Australian citizens that vote on what the future of levels of government should be. And you know, it's been there's been a light shone on this process well and truly with the court case in the Adelaide City Council. Nearly 2.5 years, Stacey, and, you know, there's a lot of unanswered questions as to why the Electoral Commissioner has been so dogged in their pursuing of this. And the amount of money that's been spent from the government to defend this case, that now nearly 2.5 years later, it's been found that there's been this fraud, and the results have actually been impacted because of it.
Okay. Well, I'll watch it closely in the lower house when it does go to a vote. But Sam Telfer, appreciate your time this afternoon. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Stacey.
I'll just go back to Frank Pangello, who introduced the bill. Frank, I think I've still got you there. So it sounds like you'll have the opposition's support in the lower house on the first aspect, but you said you're willing to split it up and get rid of the compulsory voting aspect for now?
Yeah, I am, because, look, we're running out of time for the 2026 election.
Yeah.
And look, Sam's absolutely right. And Sam's had a lot of experience in local government. He was a former president of the Local Government Association and a long-serving, councillor on the West Coast. So he knows what it's all about. And, I'm happy to accept that. And I think the government is as well, and particularly in light of the findings of the Court of Disputed Returns. And also, I understand that the Electoral Commission will release its long-awaited report. 3 years is a bit much. Next week, I believe, in Parliament. It could actually be as soon as next week. It'll be interesting to see what it finds in there, because I really think the Electoral Commission, I don't think they've been doing their work, Stacey, to really shine a light on the integrity of local government elections. I don't think they've been as vigilant in local government as they have been in state or federal.
Okay. Well, we'll await and see when their report gets released and when this goes to a vote in the lower house, if the government's willing to support it as well. Frank, appreciate your time.
Well, Stacey, I'm still planning to have the parliamentary inquiry into it, because I think there's been a bit of a cover-up going on in somewhere, and we need to get to the bottom of it. I think people out there have a right to expect that elections, whether they be federal, state or local government, are carried out in accordance with the laws and are done with integrity.
Yep.
And at the moment, I can't say I trust the process in local government elections, and people should be alarmed at that.
We can't be having that. We need people to trust the process for elections. That's what we always say about our democracy in Australia. It's the beauty of living in Australia. We have the opportunity to vote in local council, state, federal elections, and we need to be able to trust the integrity of them. Absolutely. Frank, appreciate your time. We'll stay in touch on the committee as well, and I'll follow the legislation through the lower house when it's up for a vote. Thank you. Frank Pangello, Independent MLC there. It's time for the 1:30 news headlines now, but we'll continue this discussion throughout the afternoon. So keep ringing in with your thoughts. 8223 0000 is the number, or you can text them as well. 0448 08 1395. We'll take some of your calls in the next half hour, and we'll also talk about what could be in the federal budget.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Good afternoon, I'm Kendall Brettig. A microalgae killing fish on the Fleurieu Peninsula has been identified. Tonight's federal budget will show Australia owes slightly more money than previously thought. More than 1,000 people, including journalists, have been arrested as unrest continues in Turkey. And Alex de Minaur's moved through to the round of 16 at the Miami Tennis Open. Sunny and 31. At the moment, 27. More news at 2 o'clock on 5AA, Always Adelaide.
Each week on the 5AA Sports Show, Rowie and Timmy invite some of their pals from the world of sport onto the show for a chat. Thanks to Pals, Parafield Airport Liquor, home of the hardest to find wines, beers and spirits. Life's better with your pals.
A high fly ball to deep left field, back and gone. Into McCovey Cove, a splash hit for the Giants.
You're not in San Fran right now, but with travel booking via the CommBank app, the USA is closer than ever. Save up to 15% on flights with the Flyaway sale. Book now. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. Search travel booking in the CommBank app today.
That is headed for Alcatraz.
Travel booking is provided by Hopper. Eligibility and T's and C's apply.
The Volvo XC60 Special Edition with Lifestyle Pack upgrade includes Harman Kardon premium sound, panoramic sunroof, tinted rear windows, and 20-inch alloy wheels from $74,990 drive away. Conditions apply. Volvo.
Australian supergroup ARC returns performing Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here and Dark Side of the Moon live. Don't miss ARC. Touring cities across the country this August. Tickets and info at livenation.com.au.
Steinborner Hyundai has always been well worth a trip. And now there's another great reason to visit. Hyundai's full range of hybrids. Steinborner Hyundai has a hybrid to suit every driver. From the hybrid i30, the Kona, the Tucson, as well as the all-new Santa Fe hybrid family-sized SUV. Experience the difference at Steinborner Barossa and Clare with outstanding service and a great range of vehicles. And you'll see why. Steinborner Hyundai is well worth the trip. Steinborner.com.au.
It's a super sales weekend at District Outlet Centre, where you will find all the big brands with big savings. District Outlet Centre offers the ultimate retail experience with stores including New Balance, Supre, Hype and Johnny Big. And there's Valley Girl, Lavissa, House Superstore Outlet and YD, just to name a few, along with an extensive range of food. For over 50 local and international brands and the very best prices, it's got to be District Outlet Centre, Main North Road, Parafield.
Complete Windscreens, home of the Big Red Koala. We're a 50-year-old family-owned business that is now an RAA-approved repairer. So for chip repairs, supply and fit windscreens, tinting and ADAS calibration, make sure you tell your insurer or fleet manager you want Complete Windscreens on the job. For emergency glass repairs, contact Complete Windscreens for the best price, quality and same-day service. CompleteWindscreens.com.au, 220 Main North Road, Prospect, home of the Big Red Koala.
Let's see what's in the swear jar at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens. Here's one from Jasmine, the operations manager at Buy Urban and the driving force behind the success of all renovation projects. Jasmine swears to ensure all the trades arrive on time every time to ensure a seamless transition to your stunning Buy Urban bathroom. For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Live, local. This is 5AA, Always Adelaide. 5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
25 minutes to 2 here on 5AA. Getting a couple of text messages from you about what we should rename Adelaide. If we're going to get rid of the City of Churches tag, what would you like it to be called instead? Ian in Morford Vale on 0448081395 says, I'd suggest the City of Festivals. A cousin of my father's was John Bishop, one of the prime movers of the Festival of the Arts. There you go. I agree. I think it's got to be something to do with festivals. Mike says, I think Adelaide should be known as the Accessible City. The Accessible City. Sounded like I said successful city then, which is Could be true as well. But the accessible city. Thank you for your suggestion, Mike. Keep them coming. 8223 0000 is the number to call, or you can text 044808 1395. What should we call Adelaide? Wallace Cinemas Family Pass up for grabs for the best suggestion this afternoon. Now, I'm not sure anyone in Canberra is worried about what they're calling Adelaide today. They're all in their federal budget lockup, and it will be handed down at 7:30 p.m. I think 7 p.m. our time, 7:30 on the East Coast tonight, when the Treasurer hands down the final pre-election budget under this government. I thought, let's talk about what we know, what will be included, and what we know won't be included as well. Hayley Locke is a partner and tax partner at KPMG and joins you now. Good afternoon, Hayley.
Hi, Stacey. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very excited about tonight, obviously, being in tax.
I was about to say this must be just, the biggest day of the year for people who work in tax.
Like New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve or something like that. But
Yeah.
Look, to be honest, though, this one's probably going to be a bit low-key compared to prior budgets. So maybe I'm getting excited for naught.
It feels like we do already know a lot about what will be in the budget, of course, with the energy bill relief extension for the next 6 months, and the stage 3 tax cuts that had already been announced and passed into legislation. Are you expecting any big surprises?
To be honest, Stacey, no big surprises, I don't think. I tend to focus on the area of individuals and employers. Comparatively to the last budget where we were sort of staring down the barrel of the stage 3 tax cuts, nothing as big as that is probably going to be on the horizon for us tonight. But, there are, exactly like you said, a few cost of living measures that have come through which have been pre-announced. So we'll see some more detail on those in the budget tonight. So we've got the energy bill relief, as you said, so that's a $150 rebate that will take us through to the end of this calendar year, and you'll see that coming through in your electricity bill. We've got some tweaking around a new home ownership program called Help to Buy, where the government's kind of made that a little bit more accessible for people. So that opens up for applications later in this year, and there's a co-contribution there that the government will make to the purchase of those homes of between 30 and 40%. It's going to be pretty competitive, though, because there's only 10,000 places per year for 4 years.
Oh.
And then the other one that's out there in the ether is we've had a little bit of some announcements around expansions to bulk billing and reducing the cost of medicine. So they're some of the things that we've seen in the last few weeks. There were also some announcements towards the end of last calendar year that we'll actually see for the budget in the first time this year.
Oh, okay. What are they?
Yep, so those ones are actually quite big as well. Particularly, there's a big one for anyone who's got a HECS or a help debt or a university debt. So that was announced at the end of last calendar year. And so we'll see that in the budget this time around in terms of the numbers. But what that is that from the 1st of June this year, the budget's actually cutting 20% of student debt balances. And they're also changing the way that they calculate help repayments as well. And so there's some sort of windfall gains there, I think, to the 3 million Australians who will benefit from that change. You don't have to apply for that one. The ATO is going to automatically do that for you, which is a good outcome. And so, we'll see the numbers come through in the budget tonight.
As in how much that will impact the budget. There'll be a loss there, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
And some changes to do with childcare as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, these are sort of scheduled to start on the 5th of January, and there's some subsidies there in terms of essentially the idea behind this is to give 3 days of subsidised childcare to all families in Australia. So, again, a pretty kind of critical change. These are sort of tweaks at the ether, I think, in terms of cost of living measures, but that you can see the government kind of targeting different parts of the population in terms of, students versus those with families. The energy bill is obviously something that impacts most people. New homeowners. And so you can sort of see those kind of things coming there in terms of those cost of living measures. But we're certainly not expecting anything much larger than that tonight for individuals and employers.
Yeah, okay. And so how does it work with this budget, Hayley? It'll be announced tonight, and then of course we know we'll be heading into an election campaign, and there'll be a whole heap of promises thrown around from either side. Will those promises have to be included in this budget? So will the Labor Party have to give up some of their, some of their tricks and what they've got up their sleeve tonight, or do those announcements, I guess, get promised during the election campaign, and then if the party wins, get budgeted for in next year's budget?
It's probably to some degree the latter.
Right.
And so, look, there'll be an expectation that there'll be some, measures announced tonight, and that there'll be a bit, but there's always potentially the capacity for more. I think what will be really interesting will be to see the response of the opposition on Thursday. So obviously Jim Chalmers has his moment in the sun this evening, and then we'll hear from the other side on Thursday. And so it'll be interesting then to kind of compare the costings of the two measures. And see sort of where all of that lands. Yeah,
because so far it's felt with some of the announcements that we've had in this unofficial campaign so far that there's been bipartisan support on a lot of it. A lot of the health announcements and Medicare and adding different medicines to the PBS, they've had bipartisan support. So if you're not voting on social issues like rolling back work from home or introducing a Department of Government Accountability or something like that. If you're not voting on one of those election matters, it doesn't feel like there's a whole heap of difference, or of course nuclear energy. But we might see that difference in the response on Thursday from the opposition.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see, certainly from a tax measures perspective, if there's anything that the opposition sort of has in mind there in terms of changes.
As an expert in tax and a partner with KPMG, do you have an opinion on bracket creep? This is an issue that I think's been lurking in the background for, years now, but it doesn't seem like either party wants to address bracket creep, because if they address it, it means less tax that they get from people, but it's something that really affects, every household, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think that was obviously part of what the previous Stage 3 tax cuts were trying to address. And it is something that I think when we're looking at tax policy, we need to take into account. But I think probably from a tax policy perspective, you really need to look at the broader system. And it's all aspects of the tax and transfer system when you're making big decisions about that, about the future of Australia and the economy and where we want to sort of target our spending and our support for people. There's actually quite a lot of different levers that you can pull, and tax is potentially only one of those levers. And so I think there's lots of areas that are ripe for tax reform, and certainly individual taxation is a key area.
Okay. What other changes would you like to see?
Oh, it's just interesting, I think, if you look at, say, for example, the difference between federal and state taxation and where we might be able to get some efficiencies on that front. If you look at other international jurisdictions and the way that they sort of structure things like their GST and their VAT, there's lots of different options that a government might have. Like I said, lots of different levers that we're able to pull to sort of look at what might sort of be the most efficient changes. But, I think anyone who works in the tax profession, it's been a long time since we've had really big structural changes, and I think we're all very aware of the political sensitivities around that as well. So, it'll be sort of interesting to see sort of what appetite a future government might have for that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like either side really want to address it at the moment.
It's really hard when we're you can kind of appreciate it when we're on the sort of cycles that we are. But certainly it's something that we always remain hopeful within the tax profession.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to see the tax profession's hopeful. Maybe that means the rest of us should be as well. Well, Hayley, thank you for your time. Appreciate your insights this afternoon. And, I'll be watching tonight. We'll see what's announced.
Thanks so much, Stacey. It's been lovely talking with you.
You too. That's Hayley Locke from KPMG, tax partner. What do you think? Do you think either side are brave enough to address bracket creep? I don't think so. I think they like to see the taxes come in too much. It would be, I think it would be a vote winner. Absolutely. If they were going to index the different taxation brackets at CPI increases, so you didn't get a pay rise and then get taxed more if you move into the next bracket. I think it's a great idea. I reckon it would be a vote winner. What do you think? 8223 0000 is the number to call. And we'll take some calls after this on either the federal budget. What are your thoughts on Jim Chalmers handing it down tonight, or the opposition? Are you more looking forward to the opposition's response on Thursday? Or if you'd like to talk about local council elections, the number to call 8223 0000.
To the centre, he passes to wing back to centre take time, turn, he comes back to the wing.
You're not in Italy right now, but with travel booking via the CommBank app, Europe is closer than ever. Save up to 12% on flights with the flyaway sale. Book now. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. Search travel booking in the CommBank app today.
Shoots and goal!
Travel booking is provided by Hopper. Eligibility and T's and C's apply.
The Volvo XC60 Special Edition with Lifestyle Pack upgrade includes Harman Kardon Premium Sound, panoramic sunroof, tinted rear windows, and 20-inch alloy wheels from $74,990 drive away. Conditions apply. Volvo.
Protects the Duco from the sun. This stops the timber getting wrecked by the UV. Always put this on, mate. Keeps it in good nick.
When we cover things, they last longer.
Hey, Dad!
Same goes for you. Twice as many men as women die from melanoma in Australia. At its most aggressive, skin cancer can spread to internal organs like the lungs and brain and become deadly quicker than you think. Be sun smart. Save your skin.
When it comes to reducing pain and rebuilding strength, Kaiser leaves nothing to chance. Our university-qualified health professionals don't just treat problem areas. They design personalised training programs using Swiss-engineered machines unique to Kaiser. These machines safely isolate the affected area, test your strength, and help rebuild your muscles for a stronger, more active, and healthier life. Kaiser, building strength with precision in Norwood.
Discover Canada and Alaska with APT and Phil Hoffman Travel in 2026. Unearth richer experiences and hidden treasures amongst the towering Rocky Mountains to the icy waters of Alaska's Glacier Bay and bustling historic cities with savings of up to $2,600 per couple. Join Phil Hoffman Travel and APT at exclusive Canada and Alaska 2026 season launch events across Adelaide from the 31st of March to the 10th of April. Visit pht.com.au.
Tough enough for any task, the 2024 Mazda BT50 is now in run-out. Tackle work and play with the powerful XT 4x4 dual cab manual from $49,990 ABN drive away. Or the SP 4x4 dual cab auto, now from $63,990 ABN drive away. Plus, enjoy additional run-out bonuses across the BT50 range. Visit your local dealer and drive away today. Terms, conditions and exclusions apply. See Mazda.com.au for details.
For 50 years, Sterling Homes has set the standard. As we mark our 50th anniversary, we invite you to share your dream with us. To celebrate, we're giving you $15,000 in luxury upgrades your way at no extra cost. Choose from reverse cycle air conditioning, stone bench tops, solar panels and more. Plus, we're including 2.7 metre high ceilings. It's your home built your way because at Sterling Homes, your home. Find your nearest display home location at sterlinghomes.com.au. T's and C's apply.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
10 minutes to 2 here on 5AA. After 2 o'clock, it's Talk Back Gardening with Diane Hall from Newman's Nursery. So if you've got a gardening question for Di, get it ready. We'll be taking your calls after 2, and there's a $50 voucher up for grabs for Newman's Nursery for one caller between 2 and 2:30. So make sure if you have a question, you ask it today. But now we're taking your calls on any of the matters we've been discussing here on the afternoon's program. Maybe you've got some thoughts on the federal budget tonight. Would you like to see bracket creep addressed? Maybe you've got a suggestion on what we should rename the city of Adelaide in terms of the city of churches, is the old nickname that Adelaide has had forever, the city of churches. I personally hate it. I don't really know why we have to have the city of churches. I think there are lots better names out there, including this one from Ian, the city of festivals, I think is a great one. Mike thinks the accessible city is a good one. And then this texter, there's no name on it. Send me a name. I love this. The "you ain't getting in my lane, mate" state. I like it. It's a bit long for a I've had a mind blank. The little plates, number plates, a car number plate. The "you ain't getting in my lane, mate" state. But it's very relevant, that's for sure. Keep your suggestions coming, 8223 0000, or maybe you'd like to talk about local government elections. And Mark Brindle, former Minister for Local Government and regular listener to the afternoon's program, is called in. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Stacey. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Stacey, I was responsible for the City of Adelaide Act under the Olsen government. And the reason, let me explain one thing to your listeners first. The reason that overseas nationals get a vote at all, which is unusual, and it's not allowed, I don't think, in general council elections outside the city, is as follows. The city is the most wealthy local government area in this state by a country mile. The biggest landlord in the city, the biggest owner of property in the city, is the state government, who doesn't exercise a vote. So the thousands of people that go into the city, like you, go into the city every single day and contribute to the wealth of the city, have no say in local government. So what we wanted to do in the city was expand the franchise as much as we could. Now, I know overseas students, and I'm not against Frank's amendment, but I know overseas students are not Australian nationals, but they come here and they spend a lot of money and they live in the city for 4 years. And that was the rationale. You're living in the city for 4 years. You are part of the economy of the city. Therefore, is it wrong to give you a say? And remember, it's voluntary. They don't have to do that. Frank's now waxing lyrical. And, you know, one of my great bugbears is every parliament thinks that any parliament that went before them were a mob of fools and they know better. They never ask anyone who's been there before, never seek reasons, always come on your program and, in a sense, try and reinvent the wheel.
Well, I mean, isn't that just, learning? Don't we all are all entitled to change our minds? We're all entitled to say, that was probably a mistake, so we'll...
It's not that. It's not that, Tracy. It's how do you progress in society? You learn from your mistakes, and first of all, you must understand what your mistakes were. If you don't learn the lessons of history, as the saying goes, you're bound to repeat them. Frank was waxing lyrical about these students being manipulated. Let me tell your listeners, and I think a lot of them that are my age would know, the City of Adelaide originally had a property franchise, and the big property owners in Sydney controlled the City Council. Votes in the Adelaide Corporation of the City of Adelaide have been manipulated my entire lifetime. Henry Ninio, ex-Lord Mayor, and you don't have to beat this out because they're both dead, so you can't be sued. Henry Ninio, the ex-Lord Mayor, and Steve Condis, the ex-Lord Mayor, basically said to me, the person who has got the ear of, if you like, the controller of the central market can determine who the Lord Mayor is, because all the stallholders had a vote in those days, and what would happen is...
And so that was changed, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, and it was changed, and it was changed to expand the vote. Now, we're still getting this bit of manipulation by, the court found by in the student sector, but what I'm saying is it has ever been thus. It is probably thus because we've got voluntary voting. Now,
so do you agree with changing it?
No, not at all. Not while we've got the electoral system we've got, because how the hell, Tracy? I mean, you've talked about the number of councils we've got. Nobody really is interested in local government elections. Look at the turnout. It's as easy as pie to vote, and nobody turns out because they're not interested. And when you've got something like 17 or 18 councils, the problem with democracy is not only exercising a vote, it's that the vote should be informed. The vote should be informed. How do you, with 18 or 19...
Just because we have a low voter turnout doesn't mean we should allow anyone who lives in the city for a couple of years to vote.
I don't disagree with... I don't necessarily disagree with Frank about that. The dilemma we had was how do we expand the vote enough to try and dilute the possibility of rigging, because if I'd found a way that people like you who work in there every day, buy coffee in there every day, spend money every day, could be included to vote for the city council, I would have had it, because I figure that if you spend money in the city, if you contribute to the city's wealth, and you're a resident, etc., you've got a right to have a vote. But no one, including me, and no one in government could suggest to me a way that we could improve the quality of voting and the right of people to vote in the city. Because, as I said, thousands of public servants can't vote.
We're coming up to the 2 o'clock news, so I've got to leave it there. I've got to say I'll politely disagree with you on that one, Mark Brindle. I don't actually want to vote in the Adelaide City Council elections. I might work in the city and contribute to the economy. I vote in my local council.
You should have the right.
I vote in my local council election, and I don't think foreign nationals and international students should be allowed to vote in the Adelaide City Council election if they're only here for a short period of time. That's what I think. But we'll see what the Parliament thinks, I guess, if they'd like to change it.
Yep, you're right. And they should. I'd actually vote for that change too, but I wish I could still expand the franchise. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, appreciate your thoughts. Thank you for calling in. That's Mark Brindle, former Minister for Local Government. What do you think? 8223 0000. It's time for the 2 o'clock news, and then it's Talkback Gardening with Di Hall. So if you've got a question for her, get on the phone.
Get a coach's perspective each week on the 5AA Sports Show when Rowie and Timmy G chat with Scott Camporeale for Coach's Corner. Thanks to Unique Homestyle Foods, proudly baking for hundreds of South Australian businesses for 35 years. See the difference.
A high fly ball to deep left field, back and gone. Into McCovey Cove, a splash hit for the Giants.
You're not in San Fran right now. But with travel booking via the CommBank app, the USA is closer than ever. Save up to 15% on flights with the flyaway sale. Book now. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. Search travel booking in the CommBank app today.
That is headed for Alcatraz.
Travel booking is provided by Hopper. Eligibility and T's and C's apply.
The Volvo XC60 Special Edition with Lifestyle Pack upgrade includes Harman Kardon Premium Sound, panoramic sunroof, tinted rear windows, and 20-inch alloy wheels from $74,990 drive away. Conditions apply. Volvo.
The most frustrating thing about having your car repaired after a collision can be the wait. Sometimes months. At Premier Panel Services, the wait is one thing you won't have to worry about. We've expanded our workshop and our highly skilled team. It means we're better equipped to deliver an outstanding outcome for you and your car. RAA and MTA approved, Premier Panel Services work with most insurance companies. So ask for Premier Panel Services and get back on the road sooner.
Have you seen the stunning new sign at NRG Solar's relocated office in St Mary's? It's not just a sign, it's a beacon of sustainability. As leaders in solar solutions, NRG Solar's commitment to innovation shines bright. Their new warehouse is fully stocked with a stunning range of wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself, 1275 South Road, St Mary's, or visit nrgsolar.com.au for a sustainable future. That's nrgsolar.com.au.
Some turkeys can spontaneously impregnate themselves through a process called parthenogenesis. While it's rare among birds, it's also possible for plants, bugs, and some fish. And maybe you. What? Because if you drive on drugs and get caught, you've screwed yourself. Immediate loss of licence, a fine, and whatever other damage you've caused. Reality hits hard when you drive stoned. Think road safety. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Hi gardeners, Charlie Allbone here. You're listening to Rich Grow's Black Marvel fruit and citrus food, producing bigger, juicier fruits. Its proven formula contains the perfect blend of quality nutrients and fast-acting potash and iron to create the Rich Grow effect. To see the difference in your garden, grab some Rich Grow Black Marvel fruit and citrus food and grow you good things. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Sunny and 31 with the 2 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig. The federal government says tonight's budget will have a focus on strengthening Australia's economy in the face of US tariffs. President Donald Trump is threatening to impose a new round of levies from mid-next week. He's also flagged further trade restrictions on pharmaceuticals, cars and timber. Treasurer Jim Chalmers says it's important to prepare Australia for what could be to come.
Our best defence against global economic uncertainty is a more resilient economy. And that's what the billions of dollars, for example, that we're investing in green metals is all about. That's what the modest amount of money that we'll be devoting to the Buy Australia promotion is all about.
The EPA has received test results identifying the microalgal bloom on the Fleurieu Peninsula. It's led to fish deaths as well as respiratory and eye irritations in some people. The bloom's expected to dissipate naturally, but until then, several beaches remain closed. Environment Minister Susan Close says the conditions were right for it to bloom.
A combination of a warming of the ocean and relatively still seas. So the ocean has been warming as part of climate change, and at the moment there's been a mini heat wave off our coast, which has seen about 2.5 degrees higher than normal temperatures in our sea, and that's been enough to kind of brew the right chemical environment.
And police crackdown on poor behaviour on public transport last week has led to 3 arrests, 2 reports and 34 fines handed out for transport and drug-related offences. Officers targeted interchanges at West Lakes, Arndale, Tea Tree Plaza, Salisbury, Mawson Lakes and Noarlunga, as well as Mitcham, Blackwood and Adelaide railway stations. Police say the operations are designed to enhance travellers' safety and discourage criminal behaviour across the public transport network. Legislation's moving through state parliament so only Australian citizens can vote in council elections. It follows allegations of vote harvesting in the 2022 Adelaide City Council election and a court recently finding Jing Lee had been elected through illegal practices. Currently, people who've lived here for as little as a month can vote in local government elections. An independent MP, Frank Pangello, has told Stacey Lee that needs to change.
You cannot allow illegal practices, fraud, to continue to happen without reform, and we need that reform.
Data released today shows thousands of teacher graduates are unable to spell or use basic punctuation. The first-time fail rate for the literacy and numeracy test has nearly doubled since 2016. Justin Mullally from the Education Union says would-be teachers are given unlimited chances to pass.
We should support those approaches on the basis that not everybody can perform precisely as they want to or are capable of in Year 12. But what we want to make sure is that those people entering teacher education, not sort of preparatory courses.
A Brisbane parkland is set to be developed as the main arena for the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games. The multi-billion-dollar Victoria Park precinct will include a 25,000-seat National Aquatic Centre and a 20,000-seat boutique stadium at the Brisbane Showgrounds. The announcement contradicts the new Queensland Premier's pre-election promise of no new stadiums. David Crisafulli says he has to accept the criticism which will now follow.
I'm sorry about it, and I got to wear that, and in the end we've given the information as to why it wasn't possible to go ahead with the redevelopment of the Gabba.
Several sports will be sent to regional areas. Rockhampton will host rowing on the Fitzroy River, Cairns will be home to the soccer and sailing will be held off Townsville, while Mackay will host the cricket. Now turning to 5AA sport, and capacity at the Karen Rolton Oval has been doubled for the Sheffield Shield final starting tomorrow. Up to 10,000 fans will be able to get into the ground, with SA aiming to lift the Shield trophy for the first time since 1996. Sports Minister Emily Burke says admittance is free.
It is looking spectacular down at Karen Rolton, and I'm sure anyone that comes along, a free event, as a family, as an individual, as a big cricket fan, to get behind the boys will have an amazing time, and hopefully we get that shield back after 29 years.
Well, after a 2-month injury layoff, Mitch Marsh has returned to cricket with a bang, smashing 72 off just 36 balls for the Super Giants in the IPL. But Aussie teammate Mitch Starc had the last laugh, taking 3 wickets as the Capitals scored a thrilling 1-wicket win. The Socceroos will make at least one forced change to their starting lineup for tonight's World Cup qualifier against China. Adam Taggart's out through injury. Veteran striker Mitch Duke comes into the squad. Alex de Minaur has moved through to the round of 16 at the Miami Tennis Open. Little-known Aussie Adam Walton also progressed, setting up a clash with world number 5 Taylor Fritz. But Jordan Thompson bowed out in straight sets to top seed Alexander Zverev. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Good afternoon. South Road slow northbound at Dawes Road, then at Richmond Road and again at Sir Donald Bradman Drive. It's also slow southbound through Theberton. Works to watch out for in Kent Town. Decaturville Terrace near Rundle Street. Speed back to 40 k's in both directions. That's the same in the Parklands on Greenhill Road near Peacock Road and in Clarendon, Grant Scully Road near Clarendon Road. Bob Jane T-Marts won't be beaten with their best tyre price guarantee. When you're after great service and unbeatable value, head to the tyre and wheel specialists. Bob Jane T-Marts, they'll look after you. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
To the weather, sunny days ahead, 31 today, 32 tomorrow and Thursday, and then 33 for Friday. Right now, 27 on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide. 5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
Good afternoon to you and happy Tuesday. Talking about what we should rename South Australia this afternoon. If you think we should get rid of the City of Churches tag and you've got another suggestion, 8223 0000 is the number to call, or you can text it through 044808 1395. We'll get the thoughts of Dan Schmidt, editor of the Adelaide Mail, within this hour. But first, it's a Tuesday afternoon, so you know what time it is.
To help you build your garden up, Diane Hall from Newman's Nursery is here to answer your gardening questions.
Helping us build our gardens up, Buttercup, Diane Hall from Newman's Nursery. Good afternoon to you. Hello.
Hi, Stacey.
Thanks for your time.
Oh, always a pleasure. And Stacey, I've got a suggestion. Oh. It's obvious to me we should be the City of Roses.
Oh, the City of Roses.
We have the International Rose Trial Gardens in the Adelaide Botanic Gardens. We have magnificent rose gardens in the Adelaide Botanic Gardens. We have rose gardens all around the City of Adelaide, in whether it's Phil Gardens or, you know, they're just everywhere in the medium strip. So, and we're the rose capital of Australia. So the City of Roses, it's obvious.
I like that. A street near me has some beautiful sort of pink and white sort of hybrid roses that just grow on the side of the street. And I said to my husband the other day, does someone look after those? Because they are always in bloom. Like, they are beautiful.
They are.
Yeah.
And that's it. We seem to always have something flowering in Adelaide, that is for sure, when it comes to roses.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, that's my suggestion. But today I thought we could talk about autumn flowering camellias.
Yes, okay. So we do still have, some people would have thought that now that spring and summer are over, there's no sort of flowering to occur, but that's not the case.
No, as you know, summer finishes and we, you know, a lot of the flowering perennials, roses, they go out of flower, and it's the time of the year that camellias start flowering. And the very early flowering camellias are called sasanquas, and they're quite different to the camellias that flower in the middle of winter. They're japonicas.
Ah.
So the sasanquas are, you can have a lot of fun with them because they've got lots of different growth habits. So you don't buy one because you like its flower. You buy it because you like its growth habit. And the flower, of course. All different shades of pink and white and some reds and margins, you know, white ones with pink margins, but all different sizes as well. There's doubles, there's singles. So they're gorgeous. And why I say they've got lots of different growth habits, we call them the camellia for creative gardening. Because whether you want to have a bush in the garden that's going to cover with flowers or in a tub, you can also espalier them along a fence to cover a fence or a shed. There's some growth habits that are perfect for hanging baskets. So they're just clumpy little plants that'll dangle over the edge, ground cover. And, some of the varieties are also perfect for hedges. So they are a plant that you can have a lot of fun with and, lots of creative gardening.
Oh, they're so versatile.
They are. And that's why I love them so much, is because you can, and they start flowering, a couple of weeks ago, and they'll go right through to end of May, June.
Yeah, okay.
They're quite a long growth habit, and they smother with buds. They actually have a lot more buds than japonicas. They flower along the leaf axils. So a japonica about 1 metre tall might have 3 flower buds. A sasanqua about 1 metre tall may have 65 flower buds. So they're really, mass with flower buds. But they're simple little flowers. They're not complicated, heavy flowers. They're simple. If we have a warm day, the wind might blow them away.
Ah.
So they're quite different to a japonica. They're loose and soft.
And so given those differences, is there a difference in the way you should care for them?
Not really, other than, obviously soil is really important. They like a good acidic soil, well-drained soil. Sasanquas will take a little bit more morning sun than japonicas, so they're a little bit more of an exposed position if that's what you've got. Prefer protection in the afternoon and not all year round if you've got them in pots, really just those horrible months that we get those really warm weeks. So, but yeah, they're quite hardy, very easy to grow. They like their fertiliser and
yeah.
A lot of people have a lot of success with them.
Okay, well, there you go. Maybe you've got some camellias at home and you've got a question about how to care for them properly. Di is the one to answer. 8223 0000 is the number to call. Doesn't have to be related to camellias, though. If you have another question for Diane Hall, she's from Newman's Nursery and she's generous enough to bring along a $50 voucher with her each week for Talkback Gardening. So one lucky caller this afternoon will get that $50 voucher for Newman's Nursery. Just have to go in store to collect it and then spend it on whatever your heart desires. Maybe one of those camellias, Di. Maybe a sasanqua or a japonica.
Yeah, well, why not? If that's what you need. You got room for one.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you don't need much room. That's the thing. There's one that's called Slim and Trim, and it's quite a conical, tall-growing sasanqua, so you can sort of slip that into any little posie where you've got a little bit of room.
Just a little bit of space, that's all you need?
Yes.
And I'm guessing some well-draining soil?
Yeah, well-drained soil. All plants prefer well-drained soil, but a little bit, they prefer an acidic soil. But yeah, no, and look, there's just so many. There's dozens of different varieties. One of my favourites is one called Camellia sasanqua Plantation Pink. And it's a gorgeous shade of pink, but it's a large single flower. So, I'm thinking inches, but probably about the size of a mug, size of a mug opening.
Oh, okay.
Quite a generous size, but a beautiful clear pink, and it has a very dominant yellow stamen centre. So it's very, very pretty, and has a long dingly-dangly growth habit. So it's one of those sasanquas that's perfect to have an espalier. Or you could even train it as a topiary. You could take it up on a stake and get it to the eventual height that you'd like, take the top leader out and let it cascade back down.
Oh, beautiful.
And then a shrub. So, whatever shape you want to play with, you can develop.
You can make it your own.
Clear shade of pink. Another very famous one that many people use for hedges. It's probably the most planted hedge sasanqua that I in the last decade. It's a double flower, so it's nice and fluffy. You don't see the stamen centre. And it's called Mai no Yuki.
Ah, okay. Well, we might talk a little bit more about that later on. But for now, Joe in Glengowrie has given us a call. Hello, Joe. Good afternoon.
Well, hello, Stacey. Hi, Di.
Hi, Joe.
My question is, it's got nothing to do with camellias, although I've got a couple growing and they've got buds on them, so I'm very excited about that. But my question is, we've bought a small courtyard home in Glengarry, faces west really gets, belting from the afternoon sun. It's got big windows at the front. I'm just wondering your opinion, Di, on what recommendation of tree that I want that I can use. I don't want deciduous. The area is full of ornamental pears, which I think are deciduous predominantly.
They are.
And I don't want anything that drops rubbish or flowers, because I've got a dog that's allergic to bees. And I've Googled it and I'm just confused as to which way to go.
Are you looking for evergreen or deciduous?
We've pulled in and pulled out that many trees, and I don't want to make a mistake this time.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, Jo, are you looking for an evergreen tree or a deciduous
Yes,
tree?
evergreen, yeah.
Evergreen. I've got a bit of bad news for you. Most trees have a little bit of flower, and they do drop their flower, spent flowers, or they drop their spent leaves, even if they are an evergreen. So I don't know that there's a perfect tree that doesn't actually, discard buds or a few old leaves.
Yes.
But, there are many evergreen trees, but not as many as we have deciduous trees.
Yes.
What about, what about one of the evergreen magnolias?
Yeah,
I know they'll have flowers, but they won't.
Little gem, is it? Or Teddy magnolia?
Yes, little gem. It will have a few flowers, but you could pick them off before, or pick them as a bunch of flowers to put inside. But it's quite fast growing.
I love those trees. I just worry, I don't know whether it'll just take the afternoon sun.
It will take full sun all day.
Will it?
Providing that the soil is well prepared and that it's well watered.
Okay. All right. There are quite a few in the area. I've been looking at where.
Yes, look, there's a gorgeous row in pots out the front of the homestead, the Tudor home at Carrickhill. You couldn't be in a more exposed position or a hotter position with a reflection from the building, and they're looking stunning. But they will need water, fertiliser, and they need to have their soil prepared well, and that would do really well.
Okay,
but
all right.
The sort of look you're after?
Yep. I might just go down that track. That's very good. Thank you for that. And, love listening to your show.
Thank you, Jo. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
That's Jo in Glengarry. We'll take some more calls after this. 8223 0000 is the number if you have a gardening question for Di.
For a unique take on everything happening in SA, join Matthew Abraham each Thursday with David and Will.
Do you want to talk about that flyer you've brought in with you?
Oh, yes, this is Louise Miller-Frost, who's a Labor MP for Boothby, with Penny Wong and Anthony Albanese. No! Peter Malinauskas.
Matthew Abraham.
He's the face of Labor's federal election campaign.
This is a federal seat.
Thursday mornings from 7:30, only on Adelaide's 5AA.
The Volvo XC60 Special Edition with Lifestyle Pack upgrade includes Harman Kardon Premium Sound, panoramic sunroof, tinted rear windows, and 20-inch alloy wheels from $74,990 drive away. Conditions apply. Volvo.
You're not in Fiji right now, but with travel booking via the CommBank app, it's closer than ever. Get flights from just $649 with the flyaway sale. Book now. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. Search travel booking in the CommBank app today.
Another coconut, sir?
Travel booking is provided by Hopper. Eligibility and T's and C's apply.
Chose to use Paint Professionals because they were referred to us by a previous client who was very impressed with the work that they had done and recommended them highly to us.
Paint Professionals turned the job around so quickly from the initial quotation straight through to completion.
Paint Professionals provided us with a very professional service. We're extremely happy with the outcome of it.
Painting an entire house or just a room? Make it a great experience with Paint Professionals. Visit paintprofessionals.com.au.
Honey, how far away is that barbecue?
Mission update, time is 1300 hours. 4 burners are now operational. Sausages are commencing their final turn. Beer fridge is sitting at 3 degrees. Manual temperature verification. Perfect. Estimated time of food delivery, 6 minutes, 30 seconds.
Okay.
If you take your role as backyard hospitality director seriously, make sure your cuisine cockpit is A-OK with Adelaide Outdoor Kitchens. Outdoor appliances, custom concrete benchtops and basins, barbecues and custom furniture. AdelaideOutdoorKitchens.com.au.
Hi gardeners, Charlie Allbone here. Water is the key to maintaining a healthy garden. That's why I use Rich Grow Easy Wet Soil Soaker. It lets the water in and keeps the roots hydrated. Easy Wet is easy to use on lawns, gardens, pots and edibles. And its new granulated formula creates the Rich Grow effect for greener lawns and stronger, healthier plants. Grab some today and grow you good things. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Hey, wouldn't you love a reward just for shopping? Become a Star Discount Chemist Superstar Rewards member to earn points, receive birthday vouchers and more. Star Discount Chemist. How can we help? Earn and redeem points on eligible purchases. Visit website for full terms and conditions.
I donated sperm anonymously in South Australia back in the 1970s. And I've often wondered if my donation ever resulted in the birth of a child. Donor conception laws have changed in South Australia. And there's now an online donor conception register. I've registered to access this to find out more. You can too at sahealth.sa.gov.au/donor conception. A message from the Government of South Australia.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
We're in the middle of Talkback Gardening with Diane Hall from Newman's Nursery. So if you've got a gardening question for Di, now is the time to call in. 8223 0000 is the number. And John in Tranmere's on the phone. Hello, John.
Hello, ladies. I'm just wondering if you can sort out a family argument. Is it okay to urinate around the lemon tree?
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Is it okay to urinate around the lemon tree?
I know many men that do.
Yeah.
Mm.
My wife says
the lemons yeah. And the lemons apparently like it. So, yep, I can't tell you any more than that.
So the answer is yes?
I would say so.
It works in my house, John.
Yeah, I've got huge lemon trees.
Mine too,
so yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
It worked for my Yaz lemon tree. I think it'll work for all of eternity.
Excellent. Thanks.
Good luck. Bye. That's
Bye.
John in Tranmere. See, Di, we tackle the big issues here on Talkback Gardening.
Oh, we do.
Lee in Blakeview has sent a text. He thinks we should rename Adelaide the City of Wine and Roses. So he agrees with you on the City of Roses idea.
Yes. Definitely the City of Roses. I mean, I love wine and roses, but that's in the state, isn't it?
And we can
all around in the state of South Australia. We're talking Adelaide or the state?
Yeah.
State of South Australia. I guess that's what goes on the number plate, isn't it?
Exactly.
City of Wine and Roses. Well, we should grab it.
There we go. Why not? Why not use them both? Now, I wanted to follow up, Di. I don't know if you had a chance to look into my bug that was on my citrus trees.
Oh, do you know, I looked and I couldn't identify it.
Oh, how bizarre.
It's quite different to the other bugs. So sorry I haven't got back to you.
No, that's okay.
I'm still doing some more research on it as to why it would have different spots in different places.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I just wasn't sure.
My famous bug lady, she'll know.
Fair enough. It's not a citrus leaf miner, though, is it? That's not what they look like.
No. It's more like the bug that sucks a tomato and, pierces the tomato skin. But, yeah, I'm not even sure about that. It's just a very unusual one.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Well, I haven't seen it since. No, that's fine. I haven't seen it since, so it mustn't have liked the tree very much.
Oh, that's good. That's good. It's probably moved on to the next door's tomatoes.
Yeah,
or something.
potentially. Yeah, sorry if you're my neighbours. Well, maybe Marilyn has a very different question for you. Probably not about a bug on her citrus tree. Hello, Marilyn.
No, hello, Stacey Lee and Diane. I have got a query about my camellia.
Oh, good.
All the leaves have been burnt just recently. It's got dozens and dozens of buds on it, but they've never flowered, never come to fruition. It's probably just about a metre and a bit high, and I'm just in a little unit at Westlakes. I've just shifted it from one position to another because it was getting really that very hot sun in the afternoons.
Right.
And
Marilyn, so I'm assuming it's in a tub.
Should I cut off all the leaves and the stems?
Is it in a container?
Sorry?
A tub? It's in a tub, a nice big tub or a container that you can move it around?
It's just one sec. I'm sorry, I've lost you. Just 1 second.
Marilyn, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can now.
Di's asking, is it in a tub? Is it in a container?
It is.
Yep.
It is in a black tub.
And it's about and how long is it since you've repotted it? Have you repotted it lately?
Yes, I did.
Right.
And I fed it. I'm just wondering, could the feed that I give it, the fertiliser, burn it if I put too much in?
If you put too much, yes. Must always follow the directions on the packet because you will get a marginal leaf burn from too much fertiliser. But I think, what did you use?
It was the little I've forgotten what to call it. It was a fertiliser that you don't actually get down to fluid. It was the dry pebbles.
Dry, so like a slow-release osmocote.
I'm wondering whether I'm overfeeding it or overwatering.
Yeah, look, they will burn in the sun, but, the fact that you said it's never flowered, it's never developed flowers, the important thing is to fertilise it properly, maybe, 4 times a year, making sure that you follow the directions and perhaps use a slow-release osmocote or a new chog product called Kahuna. Make sure when you water it that you fill up the tub with water, let it flush through, fill it up again, let it flush through. You must flush the water through the root system so that it runs out the drainage holes in the bottom.
Okay.
And that way you'll have a nice healthy root system. I wouldn't prune it at this stage. I'd wait and see, just see what the weather's going to do. You could tidy it up a little bit, but if you've fertilised it and you're watering properly, there's no reason why those buds won't develop.
Well, there you go, Marilyn. Hopefully that helps. Give it a good fertilise and a good flush through, and hopefully that fixes your problem.
That's probably what it is. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the call.
Bye.
That's Marilyn in West Lakes. Hopefully that helps, Di.
Well, it should.
Yeah.
That's all they need. They don't need much, but they do need to have their root system flushed, especially if they're in containers and, there's chemical fertilisers. Otherwise, there will be a marginal leaf burn.
Okay. All right. Well, the $50 Newman's Nursery voucher this week. What do you think? Jo in Glengowrie needed a tree ideas for her courtyard?
Yeah, she may be interested in evergreen magnolias. I think that's a fabulous choice.
There we go. Congratulations, Jo. $50 Newman's Nursery voucher coming your way. Well, you'll have to go its way. Have to go into Newman's Nursery to pick it up, and then you can spend away till your heart's desired. Newman's Nursery, helping South Australians create beautiful gardens for 5 generations. Newman's Nursery, North East Road, Tea Tree Gully. Di, thank you so much for your time today. It's always great to chat.
Always a pleasure. Stacey, signing off from the city of wine and roses.
Ah, beautiful.
Happy gardening.
And to you, thank you. That's Di Hall from Newman's Nursery. And yes, she said they're signing off from the city of wine and roses. I'm asking you this afternoon if we could rename Adelaide, get rid of the old nickname City of Churches. What new nickname would you give it? 82230000. A Wallace Cinemas family pass still up for grabs for one lucky caller this afternoon, and I'll take some more calls after these news headlines.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Good afternoon, Mel Usher with the 5AA News headlines. A driver has been reported following investigations into a crash at Victor Harbour in January. A man has faced court accused of raping and indecently assaulting a teenage patient during a recent medical examination. Jim Chalmers is preparing to hand down his pre-election budget tonight. And in sport, our cricketers have had a final hit out ahead of tomorrow's Sheffield Shield final against Queensland. The 5AA forecast, sunny this afternoon, mostly sunny tomorrow, 32. Right now it's 28 degrees. We'll have more news at 3 on 5AA, always Adelaide.
The Volvo XC60 Special Edition with Lifestyle Pack upgrade includes Harman Kardon Premium Sound, panoramic sunroof, tinted rear windows, and 20-inch alloy wheels from $74,990 drive away. Conditions apply. Volvo.
To the center, he passes to wing back to center take time, turn, he comes back to the wing.
You're not in Italy right now, but with travel booking via the CommBank app, Europe is closer than ever. Save up to 12% on flights with the Flyaway sale. Book now. Offer ends March 31st, 2025. Search travel booking in the CommBank app today.
Shoots and goal!
Travel booking is provided by Hopper. Eligibility and T's and C's apply.
At Complete Care, we're more than just a care provider. We're a family. As we celebrate our 10th year, our mission remains the same, to empower our specialised team of carers and client service managers to help people living with a disability. We provide personalised services, including cleaning and home maintenance, to social support and transportation. We look after you like family, offering a warm, caring touch that sets us apart. At Complete Care, we're the company with heart. Complete Care, with a K.
Just 30 minutes from the CBD at the base of the Adelaide foothills, discover Newman's Nursery, a multi-award-winning destination garden centre. Everything that you can imagine for your garden and more is at Newman's. Browse Adelaide's largest collection of camellias. Discover shade trees, fruit trees, citrus, roses, hedges, and everything else you would expect to find. Isn't it time you discovered the horticulturalists at Newman's Nursery? North East Road, Tea Tree Gully, open every day. A tradition in quality.
Hey, yeah? A hippo's drawer opens wide enough to fit a car inside. Yeah. And if you drive on drugs and have an accident, you wish you're in that car, getting swallowed whole. Because when you get behind the wheel with drugs in your system, even getting slow chewed by a hippo will be better than living with the damage you cause while driving on drugs. Reality hits hard when you drive on meth. Think road safety. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Build a roof over your decking, a roof over your car. Alpha Industries are the best by far. A roof over your Barbie, a roof over your beers. Alpha Industries last for donkey's years. A roof over your swimming pool, a roof over your boat. Alpha Industries, ask us for a quote. Build a roof over your grandma or anything you please. Verandas, sheds and carports, Alpha Industries.
Do you have winter clothes you no longer wear or an old toaster gathering dust? RSPCA SA are urgently seeking op shop donations of good quality winter clothing and electrical items. Every sale from their op shops helps fund vital care, shelter and medical treatment for animals who need it most. With 18 op shops across SA, donating is easy. Drop into your nearest RSPCA op shop today because your second-hand goods can help give animals a second chance.
Always informative. 5AA. Always Adelaide. 5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
26 minutes to 3 here on 5AA. This Friday is Rowie and Timmy G's Showdown Fish Off. We'll have a boat captained by Rowie and another by Timmy G. Crows v Port with bragging rights on the line. So make sure you tune in Friday from 4 p.m. to see who's taking the inaugural trophy. And it's all thanks to Pepper's Cleaning Products and Alpha Industries, celebrating 40 years delivering custom-made outdoor living and storage solutions. alphaindustries.com.au. You do not want to miss that on Friday. Morgan Pumpers at the Bureau of Meteorology. Let's see what the boys can expect for their Friday forecast. Hello, Morgan.
Hey there, how's it going?
Good, good. Let's jump around a little bit. We'll get back to today later, but firstly, what can the boys expect on Friday? Good fishing conditions?
Yes, they'll definitely need the wide brim hat and all the sunblock, and probably the low is a long sleeve shirt as well. So it's going to be around that 32, 33 degrees on Friday. So it's going to be the clear blue skies, and while the wind should come down a touch on our Friday compared to the next few days, it'll be some great conditions to be out doing some fishing. But otherwise, I think it's also going to be plenty of that sun, which is going to make it feel pretty hot as well.
Okay. And we can expect more of that over the next few days?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, some mostly sunny conditions the next few days. We've got minimums of 16 and then maximums of 31 and 32 degrees on the way. So probably the strong wind gusts are something to keep in mind. We do have some moderate winds out there at the moment with some southeasterly, but otherwise, as we get through the rest of today, we do have the chance of getting into that 31 degrees for today. At the moment, we've just got into the 28.1, but that sun is still going to bring enough warmth this afternoon to bring an extra few degrees.
All right, Morgan. And then what about into the weekend?
Yeah, look, so with regard to our temperatures, we're still going to be around that 30 degrees on Saturday, but it will be cooling off a little bit into the Sunday. So those southeasterly winds, just as that change comes through, which isn't going to be bringing it too much in the way of change with our weather conditions other than the temperatures. It's going to tap in a little bit cooler air further south of us, drawing up it over us into the Sunday. So apart from that, we'll just be going from that 33 on Friday to the 26 on the Sunday. So plenty of sunshine on the way this weekend.
All right. Love it. Thank you, Morgan.
No worries.
That's Morgan Pumper from the Bureau of Meteorology. Very soon, we'll be talking to Dan Schmidt from the Adelaide Mail with his suggestions on what we should rename Adelaide as a city in terms of a nickname. Paul Starrick wrote in the Advertiser on the weekend that we should ditch the tag City of Churches. He thinks we should replace it with something that's more centred around the Oval. He doesn't give a specific suggestion, but he says, forget the City of Churches. Adelaide is defined by the Oval and its surrounds. So what do you think we should rename it? 8223 is the number to call, or you can send it through as a text, 0448081395. I'm loving reading these out this afternoon, and I'll get to some more of them very soon. Or maybe you've got some thoughts on local council elections or the federal budget to be handed down by Treasurer Jim Chalmers tonight. And Brian in Windvale wants to talk about the budget. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Stacey. Nice talking with you. Thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
One thing with any budget of any government, it's a rehash of a lot of what's already been announced. They give you the good things. They tell us how that they're going to improve Medicare, which they've been banging on about for some time. Yes, they're going to increase the incentive for GPs to bulk bill. What they have done hasn't had any real effect in increasing bulk billing. I would like somebody, if they are speaking to anybody from the federal government, to ask them about the $396 million that is going to be taken from pathology testing as of the 1st of July. We've heard nothing from them about it, but it's going to happen, and that's going to, again, impact on cost of living. Some fairly basic pathology tests that are used widely are going to be affected. But as I said, we've heard nothing from it about them, and I'm sure that won't be in the budget tonight either.
Yeah, I was looking into those pathology changes actually, Brian, and it'll affect quite a lot of people, especially if you're a regular if you're someone who has to get a regular blood test, it'll affect that. So lots of pensioners will be affected. Also, lots of women who have to have regular blood tests, including people like me who are pregnant. At the moment, I've had to feel like I'm a pincushion at the moment, getting all the blood tests and different testing done. So it will affect quite a large number of people, and I don't think we quite have our heads around how much it will affect those groups as well, just by how much you'll have to start paying for these blood tests that at the moment are free and bulk billed. So it's a really good point.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of the taking from Peter to pay Paul, because they are. They're doing just that. They're going to prop up these promises that they're making by pulling that amount of money. And as it is almost $400 million going forward.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. I'll make sure if I have anyone from the federal government or if we're talking to anyone about the budget, I'll bring it up, Brian. Thank you for reminding me.
I'd like you to. Thanks for your call.
Appreciate
my
it.
call.
It's Brian in Windvale. If you've got some thoughts on the federal budget, you can ring them in as well, 8223 0000. But up next, we're going to talk about what you would replace Adelaide's nickname with. We don't want the city of churches anymore. Get rid of it. Let's have something new. Some very funny text messages coming through, and there's still a Wallace Cinemas family pass up for grabs for the best caller, so get on the phone, 8223 0000.
He's one of the most decorated AFL players in recent history.
Bartel.
Catch Cats Premiership legend Jimmy Bartel talking footy each week with Rowie and Timmy G. Thanks to Statesman Windows, Adelaide's most trusted boutique window company. SA family owned and operated since 1980.
The Volvo XC60 Special Edition with Lifestyle Pack upgrade includes Harman Kardon Premium Sound, panoramic sunroof, tinted rear windows, and 20-inch alloy wheels from $74,990 drive away. Conditions apply. Volvo.
With so many holiday homes on Booking.com, there are so many Tina Feys I could be. Surfing Tina at a beach villa. Is that a shark? Or channel surfing Tina in an apartment. Ooh, a shark show. Book whoever you want to be. Booking.com, Booking.yeah.
Your Gold Coast holiday just got bigger and better. Now get 5 days unlimited entry to Warner Brothers Movie World, SeaWorld and Wet n Wild. That's 2 extra days of theme park fun. Plus, check out the spectacular world first, the Wizard of Oz precinct. Now open at Movie World with spectacular themed precincts and 2 new family roller coasters. Make it happen now with the Village Roadshow Escape Pass. Visit themeparks.com.au. Terms and conditions apply.
Plant the seed of your legacy. Centennial Park's new Living Legacy Forever Flowers offers a heartfelt and sustainable way to commemorate your loved one. For the first time in South Australia, Living Legacy's groundbreaking science allows your loved one's ashes to positively impact the environment, creating a beautiful, lasting tribute where friends and family can gather and reflect whilst contributing to the beautiful botanical environment. To learn more about Living Legacy Forever Flowers, visit centennialpark.org.
Steinborner has done it again. The Jack T9 Ute has landed at Jack Motors in Gawler. Enjoy a 5-star ANCAP safety rating, 7-year unlimited K warranty, 7-year roadside assist and 7-year capped price servicing. The Jack T9 impresses with a turbocharged diesel engine, 4x4 dual range transmission, 3-ton towing capacity and can easily handle a full-size Aussie pallet with 1,045 kilo payload. All this from $45,980 drive away. Jack Motors, it's well worth the trip. Gawler, Barossa and Clare or at gawlerjackmotors.com.au.
It's the best Beachwood home yet. The Caliente, inspired by the glamour of Palm Springs and California. A multi-level masterpiece of design, innovation and style with unmatched street appeal. Unwind by the fireplace, take the elevator to explore, or view the climate-controlled wine room. Truly spectacular. This home is a home designed for all generations. The Beachwood Caliente, open soon for inspection at Craigburn Farm. Life's good. It's even better in a Beachwood home.
Life is busy, but your loved one's safety is priceless. With Care Alert's personal alert system, you can relax knowing they're supported anytime, anywhere. With features like two-way talking, fall detection and GPS tracking, make life stress-free for you and your family. Call 1300 75 85 95 or go to carealert.com.au for a Care Alert personal alert system today. Because caring never takes a break.
Don't let the sun set on your energy savings. With NRG Solar's cutting-edge batteries, your energy independence lasts long after sunset. Enjoy the freedom of solar, even when you're not home. Experience the future of energy. NRG Solar's new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself. NRG Solar, 1275 South Road, St Mary's, or call 1300 858 160 to explore a brighter, more sustainable tomorrow.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
It's 16 minutes to 3 here on 5AA. Good afternoon to you. I was reading on the weekend in The Advertiser, Paul Starrick wrote an opinion piece about getting rid of the old tag, City of Churches. We should banish the tag, the city's growing up, which is also a term that I hate, that Adelaide's growing up. It's a little bit condescending. But anyway, banish the City of Churches, and he thinks we should rename it with something to do with Adelaide Oval, because he feels at the moment that Adelaide is defined by the Oval and its surrounds. So I'm asking you this afternoon, if we're going to get rid of the nickname City of Churches, what should we replace it with? What should we call Adelaide? The City of... Your suggestion here. 8223 0000 is the number to call. And I have a Wallace Cinemas family pass to give away to the best caller this afternoon. But joining me in the studio is the editor of the Adelaide Mail, Dan Schmidt, who always has some great suggestions on this. Hello, Dan.
You got the editor of the Advertiser. He obviously couldn't come in, so you've got the editor of the Adelaide Mail.
The exact opposite. No.
Yeah, I guess so.
Still as entertaining.
We'll see.
What did you think when you first saw this? I'm all for it. Get rid of City of Churches.
I'm all for it too. And I thought Paul's suggestion was good, so I think you could go with the City of Sport. I think. Because particularly now that we're drawing some of those larger sporting events like the Live Golf and things like that, we used to have on the number plates the festival state. Do you remember that? We used to have that. Whatever happened to that?
Bring it back.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one because the festivals and more festivals are happening at the moment. But there's other suggestions that we could go with that are quintessentially Adelaide, I think. My favourite being City of the Oban. Adelaide, come for the Oban. Stay because you got a rental car stuck on the Oban. So that should be our new slogan.
Very good. I like that. I'm imagining the ads. Beautiful. You know that shot out the window when you're driving in a car and it's a reflecting from the your side mirror.
Exactly.
And
yes.
you just see in the background Oban.
Oban. That's all you need to see when it comes to it. It literally is paradise, if you know what I'm saying. But we're a fantastic wine state. So I thought instead of the City of Wine, we could have the City of Reds, because not only red wine, you got the Adelaide United soccer club, the Reds, and also a Labor government that doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. So that's City of Reds there.
City of Red. I like that. Very good. This person says, Karen, I like this one. I'd replace Adelaide with the City of the No Courtesy Wave.
Oh, I agree. And you should give a courtesy wave all the time.
All the time. Absolutely. I always do the courtesy wave.
We're a dying breed, Stacey.
And but I'm maybe a little bit too passive aggressive with it. If I give way to someone and they don't courtesy wave me, I'll courtesy wave them.
Oh.
I'm like, you're welcome.
Oh, that was almost like an Elon Musk you did just then. Just watch out.
Do that.
This isn't being broadcast, is it?
I would never.
Hey, speaking of Germans, how about the City of Schnitties for our German heritage?
German heritage. City of Big Schnitties. I like that. This person, City of Parks on the text line.
Actually, I'm joking, but that's a genuinely good suggestion.
Yeah, I think so too. We are the only city to be housed within protected parklands. That's a great text. Send me a name. 044808 1395 is the number to send your texts, or give us a call, 8223 0000. And Jason is in Salisbury East and has called in. Hello, Jason.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Instead of the festival of, what about just saying the boutique city, because we're specialised and we're different to the others?
Oh, the boutique city.
Boutique city. Now, that just makes us sound expensive. Well, which we are an expensive city now, so let's go for it.
Yes, it does.
Well,
yeah, specialised boutique city.
We specialise in our events we do.
I love it, Jason. That's a great one. Thank you.
Yeah, plenty of boutique beers. We could have the City of Beers.
Yes.
We've got the beer industry. Maggie Beer.
Maggie Beer.
Nose beers. Certain politicians. There's plenty of beers going around. Anyway.
Let's move on. Diane Hall from Newman's Nursery earlier said City of Roses, because we have lots of beautiful roses around the state. And Lee in Blakeview agreed. He thinks the City of Wine and Roses would be a good one.
The City of Guns and Roses.
City of Guns and Roses, maybe. Dion on the text line says we should be called the Roadworks State.
That's a good one.
Roadworks State. I like that, Dion. And Stephen Clemzig sent one through earlier. The You Ain't Getting in My Lane, Mate.
Yes, the no merge. It doesn't. We don't let it happen.
We don't like to merge here. He says, yeah, it's a bit long for number plates, sure, but maybe the T-shirts or the coffee mugs.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's a great call,
Supplementary slogan.
And Len, this is a good one. I think Adelaide should be known as the city with balls.
Oh, I get it. Run them all. That's very good.
You did bring up politics when you said the red state earlier. What about Ben in Modbury North's suggestion? What about the cost blowout state?
It could be. There's always a cost blowout. There's blowouts everywhere.
Yeah. The overtime and over budget state.
The blowout state.
Brian thinks the NIMBY state would be a good one.
Oh, okay. I think that's playing into those traditional older Adelaide, stereotypes.
Yeah.
We used to be known colloquially in the 80s and 90s as the murder capital, which isn't true. Statistically, we're actually the city of convicted voluntary first-degree manslaughter capital, not the murder capital. So get it right.
Doesn't have the same ring to it, though, does it? No.
Another T-shirt one, I think.
Matt also getting a bit... Well, it's not really political. It's just accurate. City of high energy prices.
I think that's a country of high energy prices.
That's
after
true.
Looking at the budget last night.
That's very true. Let's go to Ashley, who's called in. Hello, Ashley. What do you think?
Yeah, hi, Stacey. How are you going?
Good, thank you.
Okay, just about everyone who comes to Adelaide for the first time leaves and says, this is fantastic. I had no idea it was this good. Why don't we call ourselves the City of Surprises?
Oh,
I like that.
You've surprised me with that suggestion, Ashley.
City of surprises. Not always a pleasant surprise. It's a surprise nonetheless. That's a good
A
one.
surprise nonetheless. I like that, Ash. Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See you. 8223 0000. We had a text earlier from Mike who thinks it should be known as the accessible city.
That's great. And
Yeah.
we should be doing more to strive for accessibility for everyone as well. So that's a brilliant idea.
Absolutely. And Ian in Morford Vale also agrees with the City of Festivals, which
Yeah.
I think is a classic.
I think it is a classic.
Yeah.
And there's so many. Well, they're all in a couple of months still, but, cities of festivals for a small part of the year, absolutely.
That's true.
Well, we are a UNESCO City of Music, so what about, City of Songs?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one. I can't name any good songs. Well, you got the Angels ones. And
The
things like that. There you go.
Angels, yeah. Yeah, love the Angels. What other bands do we have? We've got...
Or we like to claim Cold Chisel.
Oh, yeah, Hilltop Hoods.
Yeah, Hilltop Hoods. There's so many great local bands at the moment. Lola, The Over It, so many great local bands. And we do have a lot of great upcoming musicians as well.
We do. Mondo Psycho. Bin Chicken State.
Okay.
There we go. I thought we were renowned for not having bin chickens.
Well,
although
I think because of the migration they're here now. Yeah.
They're definitely here now.
Yeah, absolutely. City of... one of our biggest draw cards is education. So how about the City of Students?
Oh, yeah.
But no housing for those students.
And they all get to vote in the Adelaide City Council election. There you go.
We're making it.
Careful. City of Potholes, Graham and Woodville.
Oh, that's 2 words. Yeah, okay, City of Pot. It was what we were also known for in the 80s and 90s as well.
Mm-hmm. This person, City of Taxes and City... I don't know what that means, so I'm not going to read it out in case it's rude. Sometimes some of the texts go over my head, and I get caught. I've got to be
innuendo.
I've got to be onto it with you sometimes. 8223 0000 is the number to call to give us your suggestions. Kathy says, "How about the 20-minute city?" Oh, is that still
Definitely,
relevant?
it's 20 minutes to get, that's how long you're stuck at the lights on South Road now, not how long it takes you to get through South Road.
It's very true. I feel like we could get rid of the city, the 20-minute city.
The 20-minute city, yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's a false claim, like 2-minute noodles. It's never, what you expect it to be.
Especially, do you pimp out your 2-minute noodles?
I've started. The kids don't like it, but I do.
Yeah. Crack an egg on top.
Oh, absolutely.
Add some chicken.
A whole kit and caboodle. Well,
bit of sriracha.
You can do peanut butter as well.
Oh.
Egg, yeah, it's really good.
Yum.
Yeah, chili on top.
Oh, I'll have to try that.
Yeah, it's the way to go.
And Travis thinks, why do we need to change it? Keep the City of Churches. I quite like it. It's a great honour to be known as the City of Churches. Too many people with too much ego. I'm not sure what ego has to do with it, but anyway.
The ego state?
The City of...
Well, I think
City
Adelaide
of ego.
has traditionally struggled with that inferiority complex for some of the larger states, but we do so many things well here, and we know it. And like the caller was saying previously, people are quite surprised when they come to Adelaide.
Yeah.
Particularly because Adelaide's set on a coast. How about the City of Beaches? Because I've been to Melbourne. They don't know how to do a beach, to be honest with you.
Oh, God, no.
Sydney, not much better.
Mm-mm.
City of Beaches, I think it'd be not bad. Brisbane might be a contender. Perth maybe. But anyway.
Yeah, I like that. And if we're going with City of Beaches, then we have to point out the fact that we have sunsets over our beaches.
That is exactly right.
City of Sunsets.
Oh, That's actually really good.
Sunset City.
Sunset City.
Come to Adelaide, the Sunset City.
You. That's also like sunset. Isn't that a term for like when someone's aging rapidly and is about on their way out?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, which is also, Adelaide in a nutshell. So.
Well, everywhere at the moment, we've got an ageing population.
We do.
Keep your suggestions coming in, 8223 0000. Vince says City of Coopers and Penfolds.
There you go. Great.
Beer and wine.
Well, look, I'm sure they'd be all over the licensing rights for that. So
Yeah. Someone says you've missed the point. It's the state, not the city. You're city-centric as usual. Well, we're
Exactly.
replacing city of churches. So
Yes.
what about just to double down on that person who says we're too city-centric, what about the city of cities?
Oh, well, there are becoming more of these micro cities within.
Yeah.
Like you go to some of these regional towns now, and they're like a city in themselves.
Yeah.
Well, some of them are shutting down, but others are doing really, really well. So yeah, the city of cities or the state of cities.
State of cities. There
The
you
state
go.
of cities.
Well, we're including them both.
State of the arts. See, that's a double entendre,
it
and that's a
is.
good one.
It
and I
is.
just thought,
Well, and you know what? Speaking of state
if
of the
someone from the
arts.
Tourism Commission is listening, and you use one of these, make sure to give me a call, please.
Rhonda in Flinders Park has called in. Hello, Rhonda.
I wish to call our city the city of beaches.
Oh, beautiful. That's a good one.
It really is the city. We got so many fantastic beaches. Good one, Rhonda.
Yep. Well done. Thank you for the suggestion, Rhonda. Appreciate it. City of diversity also coming through on the text line. Love that.
City.
Diverse city.
There you go. See, if someone from marketing is listening, please.
There you go. It took me a while, but anyway, I got there. And this one, this will get a debate going.
Here we go.
The city of Lego. Lego, not Lego.
That is correct. Lego is a pasta sauce. Lego is the correct way to say it. Yes, I know you're from...
Nowhere else in the world
Penrith,
says
Parramatta?
Lego.
No, it's Lego.
Oh, it's just not, though.
I have this discussion with my Sydney wife all the time.
There's no A, there's no Y.
Look, I know they're the company, but they're pronouncing it wrong.
No,
It is-
they're doing it
is
wrong.
Lego.
All right, let's go to Sue in South Plimpton. Hello, Sue.
Hi. I think it's the city of I don't think the council will let you do that.
I like that one, Sue. But then is it also, the council won't let you do it, but we'll do it anyway?
Yeah, no. Who really needs approval for a pergola? I mean, it's my land.
Exactly. Thank you, Sue. Love it. That's a great suggestion.
That's a very good one.
8223 0000. Mick, how about the South Coast capital?
That's brilliant.
Love that.
That is really cool.
Yeah, why aren't we called the South Coast?
I don't know. Well, because, I guess technically the southern coast of Tasmania is the most south coast of Australia.
Since when does Tasmania count?
I know, right? But we also are South Australia, but there's two states more southern than us.
That's true. That's very true.
So it doesn't matter.
Kim in Seaford Meadows, city of heaps good.
Yeah, the Heaps Good City.
The Heaps Good
Heaps
City.
Good State. There we go for the person who was complaining.
There you go.
The Heaps Good State.
Yep.
The city of asking what high school people went to as well. That's
yeah.
very, very South Australian.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.